Chapter 823. Upon hearing Lin Xian's words, their brows furrowed. Words are no guarantee. Lin Xian then took out a bubble gun and tossed it to Han Guang. Uncle Han, this is the technology that my company is currently developing, the bubble gun. Bubble gun? Haha, could it be used to blow bubbles? Ouyang Jing couldn't help but laugh. Lin Xian's expression didn't change as he continued. This bubble gun can be loaded with bullets, and its function is very simple. Once it hits the target, it can immobilize the target, just like the dark attributes fixation skill. It can last for 5 seconds, and its range is below the domain realm. That's right. Even those in the law realm will be immobilized. This thing should be very rare, right? Zhao Yaji asked. Lin Xian's lips curled. On the contrary, any project that my Yixian group does will break everyone's understanding. This bubble gun can be mass-produced, and the quantity is enough to equip all the members of the 3 major factions and all the martial artists in the 5 great empires. The cost is a few hundred yuan, and the selling price is 500 yuan. I can promise you, uncle and auntie, that once the 3 major powers finish manufacturing the bubble guns, the Han family will have full control over the sales of the entire 5 great empires. I believe uncle should understand how much profit this project can bring to the Han family. Lin Xian asked. Impossible. How can this thing be mass-produced? Oh, this is a copy of the contracts signed with the Enforcement Union, the Temple and the Bounty Hunter Guild. Lin Xian took out another copy from his spatial ring. Ouyang Hao hurriedly took it and was stunned. Still in disbelief, Han Guang looked up at Lin Xian. The cost is so low. That's right. Although the effect is very good, the cost is very low. This is where the Yixian group is better than any other group. We're not trying to make money. We're just taking a profit of 200 yuan. Uncle, do you think that this thing can be sold for 6 or even 7 figures? Han Guang nodded. The Yixian group has reached an in-depth cooperation with the 3 major forces. Their second goal is to make money. First, whether it's the attribute increasing potions or the bubble guns, they are all for the purpose of improving everyone's abilities and self-protection. If an army of tens of millions is fully equipped with bubble guns, Uncle should know very well how much combat power it will increase when fighting against the goblin race. Just based on this point alone, Han Guang was already very impressed with Lin Xian. At such a young age, he was able to create such shocking things, and he really didn't do it for money. Otherwise, this kind of thing could be casually sold for tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands. This kid is not bad. Then he looked at Ouyang Hao and asked with a smile. Ouyang family head, I'll hand over this project to the Han family. May I know how many projects your Ouyang family needs to compete? Oh, that's right. That's not all. Lin Xian said as he exchanged 2 bottles of attribute-increasing potions for Han Guang and Zhao Yaji. This will be the Yixian Corporation's 3rd major project. It will also be a project that will shake the entire continent. Attribute increase. This was no secret. It was also mentioned during the press conference, but it had never been developed. Many people would think that it was fake. This is a real attribute increasing potion can increase a martial artist's attribute purity by 10% to 30%. I think Uncle should know how rare it is to even increase one's attribute purity by 1%. It depends on luck and the opportunity to obtain a heaven and earth spirit item. In the future, when one's realm is high, a 1% increase in attribute purity will bring about a huge increase in combat power. Han Guang. Really? Han Shushua nodded lightly and said, Dad, it's true. Ling Ying's dark attribute was directly increased to 100% by the attribute increasing potion, allowing her to hide in the daytime. My ice attribute is also 100% pure. Lin Xian then said, These 2 bottles are for Uncle and Auntie. The lowest increase is 10%. If you're lucky, it can increase your attributes by 30%. It should be able to increase your attributes by a level. Han Guang was shocked. Can this be mass-produced? Lin Xian shook his head. This won't work. He breathed a sigh of relief. If it could be mass-produced, it would be too terrifying. Lin Xian then said, Although mass production is not possible, it can be diluted. With the current capital, If it's diluted to 1%, we can produce hundreds of thousands of bottles. However, the price of one bottle is at least 10 million, and the supply will definitely exceed the supply. There will even be many experts who will pay more than 10 million times the price for a 1% increase in attribute purity. In the end, if these hundreds of thousands of bottles are sold, how much money can they make? It's another trillion. By then, will my assets be comparable to the entire Ouyang family? Lin Xian looked at Ouyang Hao. Han Guang was really shocked. There was no need to compete. They had completely acknowledged Lin Xian's ability. Money is not everything. Besides money, what else can you bring to the table? Ouyang Hao did not give up. Lin Xian could not help but laugh again. What are you laughing at? Ouyang Hao asked with an ugly expression. I want to ask Ouyang family head, if the gene modification liquid, bubble gun, and attribute enhancement potion are all released, what kind of existence will my Yixian group become in the mainland? I think you also know that it will become an existence comparable to the 8 great families in terms of wealth. However, at the same time, it will bring the attention of countless people and warriors in the mainland. It will have a reputation that far surpasses any family, and is only lower than the 3 great forces. Tell me, if I represent the Yixian group to create my own force at that time, with the reputation of the Yixian group, how far can my force reach in a short time? If I slowly develop it, do you think it's possible for me to reach the true power of the 8 great families? Lin Xian's questions left him speechless. Do you think that just because you have money, some people will be on the same level as the 8 great forces? Do you have any experts? Lin Xian smirked. Then, if I don't dilute the attribute enhancement potions and leave hundreds or thousands of them unsold, Ouyang family head, how many celestial venerables, or even above celestial venerables, can be attracted to work for me if I can increase the purity of the attribute potions by 10% to 30%? Ouyang Hao was speechless. He had lost. He had been suppressed by Lin Xian the whole time. The things that Lin Xian said were not things that he could compare to. Han Guang and Zhao Yaji were shocked. What Lin Xian said could be realized. It was possible for him to establish a force that could reach the level of the 8 great families in the shortest time possible. He had the capital and ability. His potential was unlimited. Chapter 824. Han Guang finished the tea in one gulp and placed it on the table. He looked at Ouyang Hao and said, Ouyang family head, Lin Xian is my daughter's boyfriend, and she does like him. To me, my daughter's happiness is of utmost importance. Lin Xian is indeed very outstanding, and I admire him very much, so I'm very sorry. In fact, he was also testing Lin Xian. If his daughter really liked a guy, that guy would naturally be the best choice. However, whether or not he was up to the task remained to be seen. Lin Xian's performance made him feel that he wasn't simple at all. Whether it was the physique-altering liquid, bubble gun, or attribute-increasing medicine, they were all existences that could shake the continent. If it was luck that only one was developed, then what about 3? Since family head Han has decided, then so be it. Let's go. Ouyang Hao then left with a darkened face. Yaji, get someone to prepare lunch. I'll have a good chat with little Xian. Han Guang said to Zhao Yaji. All right, then you two have a good chat. After this conversation, Zhao Yaji was quite satisfied with Lin Xian, so she walked away. Han Chushua stood up and poured tea for them. Little Xian, did you already have an idea about what you just said? From Han Guang's point of view, especially when Lin Xian mentioned the method of building his own faction, he definitely had such an idea before, which was why he could describe it in such detail. Lin Xian wasn't worried about the repercussions of his idea. It didn't matter as long as no one knew that he had a heavenly Dao realm fairy as his wife. That was Lin Xian's final trump card. Lin Xian nodded. That's right. Actually, from the day I established the Art Pavilion Group, I had already made this decision. The Art Pavilion Group was created to make me rich and famous. In fact, all of this was to pave the way for me to establish my own faction. Han Guang nodded in satisfaction. According to what you said, all of this isn't impossible. Furthermore, you might be the fastest person to reach the level of a super faction since ancient times. Because your starting point is too high. It couldn't be said that he had a high starting point. All of this was the result of Lin Xian's own hard work or luck. His starting point was lower than anyone else's, because he didn't have the Son of God system back then. If you can create another superpower, it would indeed be a miracle. However, you do have the ability to do so. However, creating such a superpower is still very difficult. Take our Han family, Ling family, and so on for example. We rely on our own family members to pass down our legacy from generation to generation. On the other hand, you have to hire experts you don't know. This is where your disadvantage lies. Their loyalty is a huge problem, and it will lead to many problems in the future force you create. You have to pay attention to this point. Lin Xian nodded. Thank you for your reminder, but Lin Xian rubbed the tip of his nose and said, actually, I don't intend to create a superpower. Oh, Han Guang raised an eyebrow and looked at Lin Xian. I want to create a fourth faction. Han Guang. Han Chuxue. Let alone Han Guang. Even Han Chuxue didn't know that Lin Xian had such an idea. Hearing Lin Xian's idea, Han Guang couldn't believe it. Then he let out a long sigh. This idea of yours is too far-fetched. You might be able to create a superpower, or even a T2 force that is above the 8 great families, but you definitely won't be able to create a T1 force on the level of the 3 great families. The 3 great families are already deeply rooted. It's impossible to surpass them. Han Guang said. Of course Lin Xian knew this. However, he wanted to create such an existence. Let's give it a try. What if it works? Lin Xian said with a smile. Han Guang. Han Guang didn't know if this kid didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth, or if he had some kind of confidence. However, today's conversation made him feel that this kid wasn't someone who would boast. Could it be that he really had some kind of confidence? Outside, Ouyang Hao drove Ouyang Jing out with his car. Both of them looked terrible. Why? Why did my Ouyang clan, a great clan, lose to a nobody like Lin Xian? Why? Ouyang Jing still felt that it was unbelievable. It even felt like a lifetime had passed. He had lost all his face. Lin Xian had thoroughly beaten him up. That Han Guang just took a fancy to Lin Xian's company's potential. However, it's really strange. What exactly did this Lin Xian go through? Why was he able to develop something that no one else could? Ouyang Hao said with a frown. It's just luck. You really think it's luck? Ouyang Hao glanced at Ouyang Jing. Isn't it? If it's just one, then it's luck. However, whether it's the physique-modifying liquid, mental cultivation liquid, the so-called bubble gun, or even the most terrifying attribute-increasing potion, all of these added together are definitely not luck. I think there must be someone behind him. Father, what you mean is... Ouyang Hao's eyes flashed. It's impossible for a kid in his early 20s to do that. There must be someone behind him. If we can make use of this person, then our Ouyang clan can laugh at the 8 great clans, and even become an existence above the 8 great clans. Then Ouyang Hao said coldly, that Lin Xian will probably leave Tiandu in a few days. The day he leaves Tiandu will be the day we make our move. On the other side, a table full of dishes was prepared. The scale was not as big as the Ling families, but they were all simple dishes. This kind of feeling was still better. Little Xian, it's rare for Chuxue to fall in love with a guy. You're indeed very outstanding. Your aunt and I also approve of you. Why don't this marriage be set? I'll invite them over tomorrow, and you two can get engaged directly, Han Guang said to Lin Xian. Shua, Han Chuxue's little face suddenly turned red. Lin Xian. Wow. This marriage can't be set. When the time comes, we'll have to set up a table and invite people. Lin Xian will definitely be exposed if he goes to the Han family and the Ling family. Now is definitely not the time to be exposed. Lin Xian then held Han Chushua's hand and said to Han Guang and Zhao Yaji, Uncle, Auntie, there's no need to rush the marriage. My sister is also very busy, and she won't be able to come for the time being. Even if we get engaged, it's actually impossible for me to marry Chuxue in a short period of time. As a man, his career is the most important thing. Not to mention, I still have to develop my company and establish my own force. Uncle, what do you think? Han Guang was actually very satisfied with Lin Xian. He was really much better than those young masters. Chapter 825. Han Guang then nodded and said, "Okay, it's good that you young people have your own way of thinking. Moreover, you can cultivate now. Realms can increase your lifespan. If you reach the celestial venerable realm, you'll have a lifespan of 300 to 400 years. We're not in a hurry." "Thank you for your understanding, uncle. Let's eat." Lin Xian really felt that it wasn't easy for him. In 2 days, he went to 2 women's houses and experienced 2 life and death battles. However, it was all his fault. If he wasn't a pervert, these things wouldn't have happened. However, he was also very lucky. In fact, it could be said that he was lucky, but it was also because of his own strength. That afternoon, Lin Xian accompanied Zhao Yaji, Han Guang, and Han Chuxue all went shopping. He didn't feel too restrained and got along well with them. Since they had chosen to accept Lin Xian, they naturally didn't have any prejudice. To be honest, there was no need to have any prejudice. That night, Lin Xian naturally slept in Han Chuxue's room. To be honest, he was very lucky to have met so many girls who treated him well. If any one of them chose to be angry, how embarrassed would Lin Xian be? However, they all chose to suffer and tolerate Lin Xian. Time to sleep. Lin Xian then turned off the light and hugged the fragrant Han Chuxue. It was simply too beautiful. Han Chuxue's little face was red. It wasn't the first time that she had done it with Lin Xian, but this was her house and her parents were in the room not far away. So she was very shy. "What? Still shy?" Lin Xian smiled and kissed her pink cheeks. "No," Han Chuxue said softly. Then she thought of something and asked, "When are you leaving?" "He's leaving tomorrow," Lin Xian said. "So soon?" Han Chuxue whispered. "AI, there are other things, and I'm afraid that if I stay in Tiandu for one more day, I'll be recognized as the son-in-law of both the Han and Ling families. That would be the end of me," Lin Xian said helplessly. "Dad still wants to take you to see Grandpa and Grandma tomorrow, but since it's like this, then forget it." Han Chuxue gently moved into Lin Xian's arms and found a comfortable position. "It's strange," Lin Xian then asked in confusion. "It's only the 2nd day of the new year. Why are you and your family alone in such a big manner? The same for the Ling family. Are your grandparents not around?" Han Chuxue shook her head. "No, they have their own place to live. Ling Ying's grandparents are the same. According to tradition, we have to go to their place to celebrate the new year. If you weren't coming, Uncle Ling and my father would definitely stay at their place for a few more days. Then my reputation is quite big, but I won't go this time. You shouldn't have any objections, right?" No. Lin Xian actually came to see the parents this time. More importantly, he wanted Han Chuxue and Ling Ying to be able to return to Lin and City this year and not be prohibited from leaving by their families. Since he had gained their approval, he didn't have to worry about this now. "Right, when are you and Ling Ying leaving?" Lin Xian asked. Spend more time with my family, maybe a week." "Hee, let's get down to business. Lin Xian revealed a mischievous smile. "No," Han Chuxue said softly with a red face. "Why?" Lin Xian pinched her pink cheeks and said, "Let's talk about it when we get back," Han Chuxue said shyly. "I don't care right now." In fact, Lin Xian could guess what was going on, but she was too shy. This was her home, and her parents lived in the next few rooms. There would definitely be voices, right? If they heard it, how shameful would that be? Lin Xian then laughed mischievously. Han Chuxue couldn't stop Lin Xian from doing bad things. In front of Lin Xian, she had no room to resist, so she obediently gave in. The next morning, Lin Xian opened his eyes. Looking at the cute and beautiful little fairy in his arms, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but slightly rise. What kind of fucking luck did he have to meet them? Feeling Lin Xian's mischievous movements, Han Chuxue's long eyelashes trembled slightly, and then she slowly opened her eyes. What entered her eyes was Lin Xian's mischievous smile, causing her to blush. "Don't move," Han Chuxue said coquettishly. "Little Chuxue, I like your shy look. You're usually cold, but when you're shy, you're really beautiful," Lin Xian said with a smile. Han Chuxue's little face was red. The more aloof a girl was, the more shy she would be when she was with her lover. This degree of shyness was even higher than those soft and weak girls. I'm going to take a shower. Han Shushua then wrapped herself in a sheet and hurriedly ran away. Hey, so cute, Lin Xian said with a smile. After 10 minutes, Han Shushua walked out wrapped in a bathrobe. Do you want to take a shower? Han Shushua asked in a low voice. Yes, help me. Han Shushua. Oh. She agreed with a red face. She was someone who didn't really refuse, especially when it came to Lin Xian. After taking a shower and putting on clothes, Lin Xian and Han Shushua went downstairs. You're up. Shushua, go bring breakfast for Lin Xian from the kitchen, Zhao Yaji said to Han Shushua. Okay. Lin Xian scratched his head. Auntie, where's uncle? He went out early in the morning. Xian, where's auntie? Let me ask you something. Lin Xian nodded. Go ahead, auntie. Do you not use protection when you're intimate with Shushua? Lin Xian. Wow. Why did she ask this out of the blue? That, Lin Xian said awkwardly. I take medicine. Medicine is not good for a girl's body. Although she's a martial artist and might not have a problem, I think it's better to. Do you understand? Lin Xian nodded. I don't want you to have a child by the time you get married. Although I also want to hold a grandson, and I'm bored all day. Since you're both busy, you should pay attention to this aspect. Ahem, I understand. Lin Xian blushed and then agreed. At this time, Han Shushua brought breakfast to the table and looked over in confusion. Why was Lin Xian blushing? What did her mother say to him to make him blush? Could it be that she was a bit loud last night? Han Shushua thought shyly. Chapter 826. Lin Xian and Zhao Yaji then walked towards the dining table. Little Xian, let's go meet Chushua's grandparents later, Zhao Yaji said. Lin Xian shook his head and said, Auntie, I won't meet them this time. Next time, I have to go back today. You're going back so soon? Lin Xian nodded. Yes, I still have some things to do. Otherwise, I would definitely stay here for a few more days. That's fine. Since you have things to do, I won't delay you. Hurry up and eat. Shushua will send you off after you're done. Thank you for your understanding. After eating, Han Shushua followed Lin Xian out. I won't go to Ling Ying's place. When the time comes, I'll ask Ling Ying to help me inform his parents, Lin Xian said to Han Shushua. Why are you in such a hurry? Han Shushua asked, puzzled. Then she said, if we leave just like that, Ling Ying's parents won't be too happy, right? It doesn't matter. Anyway, I've already taken their daughter. What can they do? Ha ha ha. Lin Xian said with a smile. Han Shushua rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. The main thing was that Ling Hai had already told him about that matter, and had already decided on him. They probably wouldn't care too much about such a small matter. Lin Xian wasn't in a hurry either. However, the Xiao family was a nice country. It would take more than a day just to rush back. He had to finish what he needed to do and return to Lin City. He still had to accompany Lin Ya, Ling Longshui and the others. He also had to develop his own forces. Most importantly, the mission. Bing Lingyue Ling Longyue, Morong Qing, Han Shushua sent Lin Xian to the Star Cloud bus station. Here. Lin Ya came early. Ling Longyue was standing beside her. When she saw them, she waved and greeted them before walking over. Ling Longyue rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. You lied to me, Lin Xian. When did I lie to you? Ling Longyue then said unhappily. You said you would take me to eat all the good food in Tiandu. We haven't eaten much yet. Lin Xian. But did you enjoy it? It's all right. That's right. If you can't, you can stay here and go back with little Ying and the others. No. Ling Longyue shook her head. All right, we're leaving. You two should head back soon, Lin Xian said to them with a smile. Got it. Ling Ying rolled his eyes. Then Lin Xian brought Ling Longyue to the train station. In the dark, Ouyang Jing watched the scene with a frown. He saw with his own eyes that Lin Xian and Han Shushua came here together. What was the meaning of this? However, he didn't think too much about it. After all, he wouldn't think of their relationship even if he died. Plus, Ling Ying and Han Shushua's relationship was so good. He hated Lin Xian very much. This time, he wanted Lin Xian to die there. Xiao Yan also hated Lin Xian. But he didn't have the support of his family. He could only find an opportunity to do so. However, he didn't know that someone had already made a move on Lin Xian. "Father, they're in the car." Ouyang Jing made a call and said coldly, "And don't worry. I've already sent people to secretly kill the driver and the attendants of the 3 factions. Now the people in the car are our people. When the time comes, we'll drive the car to our Ouyang family's secret base. At that time, Lin Xian can only be slaughtered by us." Ouyang Hao's voice came from the phone. "But he has the space attribute. Don't forget that our Ouyang family's secret base has a top-grade space sealing device. Even ordinary sky venerables can't easily break through the space sealing device." "That's good." Then, Ouyang Jing hung up the phone, his eyes flashing with ruthlessness. In fact, if Lin Xian had a conflict with them because of Han Chuxue, it wouldn't be a big deal. They wouldn't pay such a big price and risk to kill Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian didn't give them any face at all. Moreover, there was already a grudge between them. The most important thing was that once Lin Xian's art pavilion group fully developed, coupled with their grudges, the Gongsun family would definitely become Lin Xian's target. Especially after the marriage between Lin Xian and the Han family, Gongsun Jun would definitely be excluded. Therefore, to avoid any more trouble, the best way to deal with him was to directly kill him. It would also help Ouyang Jing. "I won't go out with you next time." Ling Longyue cutely wrinkled her nose and said to Lin Xian, "Hey, I did bring you to eat a lot of good food and played with you. It's just that we didn't stay here for long. If we stayed longer, I would definitely bring you to eat everywhere. It's just that we really didn't have the time." Ling Longyue was actually just complaining. However, she really ate a lot these 2 days. "Then you have to make it up to me in the future." "Of course, don't worry," Lin Xian said with a smile. "There are so few people on the bus today." Ling Longyue looked around. It's the 3rd day of the new year, so there are definitely fewer people. Most people are still at home. After 2 days, there will be more people. Moreover, this nebula bus is reserved for the rich. Which rich person wouldn't stay at home for a few more days? Only those who work hard for a living would rush home and leave in a hurry. Lin Xian said with a sigh. "You humans live such a tiring life." Ling Longyue mumbled. "Life is like this." 2 hours later, Lin Xian was awakened by a voice. "Steward, steward." A man in a suit shouted several times. Excluding Lin Xian, there were only 3 people in the entire bus. The entire nebula bus probably only had a few dozen people. It was very, very quiet. A man walked over. "Sir, is there anything I can help you with? Is this the way back to Lin City? Where are we going?" The man hurriedly asked. Lin Xian frowned and looked outside. He didn't know the way, and he couldn't tell. However, the area outside was very barren. Lin Xian couldn't remember if he had passed by such an area on the way here. "Sir, this is the way to Lin City." "Bullshit. I have to go back and forth between Tiandu and Lin City dozens of times a year. When have I ever passed by such a place?" The man said again. The man's eyes flashed with a trace of haze, but it disappeared in an instant. "It's like this. Something happened on the original road yesterday, and it's temporarily not open to traffic. We took another road in consideration of everyone's safety. They didn't say anything would happen," the man mumbled. He believed them. "If you have any more questions, feel free to call me." The man smiled and walked away after saying that. "That's not right." Ling Longyue looked out of the window and revealed a puzzled expression. "What's wrong? Look, when we came, we went from the south to the north. Normally we should go from the north to the south, but now we're going due west. Even if there's a problem with the road ahead, there's no need for tracks. There are thousands of roads, so why are we going in such a strange direction?" Chapter 827. Ling Longshui had the space attribute, and space attribute martial artists were especially sensitive to directions. They were very sensitive to the position of the sun, the shade of trees, and so on. Ling Longyue also realized that something was wrong. Indeed, the nebula carriage did not need a railway. It would normally travel from north to south. Even if there was a problem with the usual route, it would only need to deviate by a degree. After a few hundred kilometers, the deviation of 1 degree would definitely not happen. However, it was a deviation of 90 degrees. This was completely wrong. It was as if they were going to a completely different place. With Ling Longyue's words and that person's discovery, Lin Xian also realized that something was wrong. Indeed, something was wrong. Xiao family? Ouyang family? Lin Xian pondered. In Tiandu, Lin Xian had basically offended these two families. With their abilities, they could definitely make a move on the nebula carriage silently, even if the nebula carriage was under the jurisdiction of the 3 major powers. They knew that he had the space attribute. If it was the Xiao family, they would know that his space attribute was not weak. Since they dared to make a move, they would definitely have a way to deal with his space attribute. However, no matter who it was, they would never have thought that Lin Xian would have a space attribute martial artist, Ling Longyue, by his side. What should we do? Ling Longyue looked at Lin Xian. Beat them at their own game. Aren't you here? Humph, you want me to help you again? Ling Longyue said unhappily. Hee, isn't that because we have a good relationship? When the time comes, you will be my girlfriend. Wouldn't it be normal for you to help your future man? Ling Longyue. Go and die. She then gritted her teeth and pinched Lin Xian's arm. Wah, are you going to go back on your words? Humph, you didn't win. I will win sooner or later. Lin Xian shrugged his shoulders and said, Go and die. Ling Longyue angrily rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. The car drove to a desert-like area. And when it reached this area, the car's speed suddenly increased, as if it wanted to rush directly to somewhere. At this time, some people in the carriage realized that something was wrong. Where is this? What the hell is going on with you guys? Someone shouted as he left his seat. On the other hand, Lin Xian and Ling Longyue were relatively calm. Lin Xian looked out of the window. In front of him was a place that looked like a base. He even saw a missile launcher. We've entered a place sealed by space. Ling Longyue then said to Lin Xian. What about the intensity? The Empyrean realm can also be sealed. But this young lady has no problem. Then it doesn't matter. Let's see what they're up to. Lin Xian. Since he already knew that they had come to the place where the space was sealed, there was no need to hide anything. At this time the man walked over. Hey, who are you? What do you want? The man in the suit who had noticed that something was wrong stood up and pointed at the man angrily. The man smiled sinisterly and reached out to grab his neck. Then crack. The sound of bones breaking could be heard. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of the man's mouth. Then his head tilted, and there were no signs of life. Ah! In the other carriages, Lin Xian heard screams. Those people had probably met with misfortune. Perhaps their deaths had something to do with Lin Xian, but it was also luck. Life and death were fated, and riches and honor were up to the heavens. Then the man looked at Lin Xian. On both sides, more than 10 people rushed in and surrounded Lin Xian and Ling Longyue. As expected, they were here for them. The two of you get off the car. The man sneered and looked at Lin Xian. People from Tiandu? Lin Xian pretended not to know. You'll know when you get down. Don't even think about escaping, because the surroundings have been sealed by a powerful spatial seal. With your strength, you won't be able to escape. Maybe if you listen to us, we'll spare your life. Lin Xian shrugged his shoulders and walked down with Ling Longyue. If it was any other time, Lin Xian would have already made his move. But now, he wanted to know whose place this was. Xiao family or Ouyang family. Then he would take revenge for those people. In fact, Lin Xian had the chance to save these people. But Lin Xian was not a saint. On the contrary, he was very selfish. He wanted to know which family this was, because if he did not do so, the people around him would be in trouble. He felt that he was not wrong. He could sell the medicine for the mainland. But rather than saying it was for the mainland, it was for himself. Money, fame, and power. To be honest, some people could give up everything for the sake of humanity. Lin Xian admired such people. But he had to say that they were stupid. Anyway, Lin Xian would definitely not become such a person. No matter what happened, the people around him would be the most important. Only by ensuring their safety would Lin Xian think about protecting other people. There was no way Lin Xian would do anything else before he could ascertain their safety. After the two of them got down from the car, Lin Xian's eyes scanned the surroundings. This was really a base, and it was an armed base. Although there were many strong martial artists, there were still some powerful firearms that could kill martial artists. Some firearms were so terrifying that even heavenly venerables could be killed instantly. Furthermore, ordinary martial artists would not be able to defend against ordinary firearms. It was very dangerous. Just like in the past, firearms could only be developed and manufactured by the three major forces and a few special existences. Otherwise, it would be illegal. This was because if you developed a powerful firearm, it might even be able to blow up the temple's headquarters. Therefore, when a large-scale firearm appeared here, Lin Xian knew that things were not simple. Don't look around. A group of people surrounded them. Lin Xian and Ling Longyue were tied up, but they could walk on their own. To be honest, although these ropes were very strong, Lin Xian could easily break free. Of course, he did not use brute force. These ropes were specially made and could not be broken by law realms. Therefore, they did not panic. However, Lin Xian had several methods. Fire attribute creation law. As for Ling Longyue, there was no need to talk about her. She could break free with just a little strength. However, they had to pretend that they had no room to resist. As long as they brought Lin Xian here, everything would be enough. Which family in Tiandu are you from? Lin Xian asked. You'll know in a while. The two of them were then locked in a small black room made of steel. You would know in a while. This was good news for Lin Xian, because it might mean that the family would come here. Xiao Yin from the Xiao family or the Gongsun family. Lin Xian had determined which family they were from. Otherwise, the people around him would be in danger. It was only for this reason that he came here. There's still a chapter to write, I'll post it later. Chapter 828. In the little black room, Ling Longyue looked at Lin Xian with displeasure. She clearly had the strength to break free from the ropes, but she was still tied up. Hey, if you ask me, we should just destroy this place. Is there a need to waste time? Ling Longyue rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. No. I need to determine which family is impatient to make a move on me. This kind of threat is extremely great. Although I can't destroy existences like the 8 great families, I can still target them. Otherwise, Little Fairy and the others might be in danger. Lin Xian said. Oh, up to you. Ling Longyue pouted her lips. But this base seems a little strange. Lin Xian muttered to himself. A hidden base that even had a spatial seal that could prevent ordinary sky venerables from leaving. With such strength, it must be protecting something very important. Thinking of this, Lin Xian wanted to see what was going on. Let me tell you something. Other than the people who escorted us in, and were in the Star Cloud car with us, everyone else I saw in this base was acting strangely. And, what's wrong? Lin Xian did not notice it, but Ling Longyue was different. She had a strength that ordinary experts did not have. Moreover, the demon race's perception of certain things was usually 10 times stronger than humans. Didn't you notice that there is no God in their eyes? Lin Xian really did not pay attention to this. There are 2 reasons why there is no God in their eyes. First, they have become puppets. Second, they have lost their souls. You're saying, the people in this base are all puppets? Ling Longyue nodded. And something like that. Then are they real people? Of course. Are they robots? Ling Longyue rolled her eyes. These people can't be doing some kind of experiment here, right? Lin Xian thought in shock. Otherwise, why would ordinary people become puppets? Moreover, this place was so secretive. Since it chose to be secretive, there must be a reason. It did not want the world to know. It must be something that did not conform to the rules of the continent. Lin Xian's interest was piqued. With the capabilities of the 8 great clans, it was actually not difficult to establish such a place. The key was to see how far it could develop, and whether it would be discovered. At this time, the door of their small black room was opened, and a ray of light shot in through the door. Then Lin Xian saw several high-level law realm guards escorting a middle-aged man in a white coat and wearing glasses. He was carrying a box in his hand. Don't move. A few people surrounded Lin Xian and Ling Longyue to control them. Lin Xian didn't know what to do. The doctor in the white coat walked over and opened the box. He took out two thin syringes and injected some kind of medicine into Lin Xian and Ling Longyue's arms. Then they walked out. Lin Xian did not struggle because he felt that no matter what, with Ling Longyue by his side, there would be no problem. He trusted Ling Longyue very much. Those people are all puppets. Their eyes are lifeless. Only the person in the white coat is normal. Ling Longyue said to Lin Xian. White coat. Injecting them with some kind of medicine, lifeless puppets. Lin Xian couldn't help but think that they were indeed doing some kind of experiment, and the medicine that was injected into them was very likely something that they were experimenting with. Could it be that the medicine that they injected us with will also turn us into their puppets? Lin Xian frowned and muttered. Then he sensed the changes in his body, which had not happened yet. Then you're not afraid? Ling Longyue rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. I'm not afraid. Aren't you here? I don't believe that something developed by humans can affect an expert close to the virtualized realm like you. As long as you don't get affected, I believe that I will be fine. Lin Xian said with a smile. Ling Longyue then released a small amount of energy. Although it was very dark, there was a faint milky white light around her body. Lin Xian could see that there was a small amount of steam coming out from the top of her head. After a few seconds, she opened her beautiful eyes. All right, I'll help you force out the potion's effects. Ling Longyue said to Lin Xian. There's no rush. Ling Longyue looked at Lin Xian suspiciously. I want to see what the medicine is like first. What if it's too late? I believe in you, Ling Longyue. Go and die, you're crazy. Ling Longyue rolled her eyes. Since Ling Longyue was able to force out the medicine so easily, Lin Xian chose to believe in her even more. Only by personally experiencing the effects of the medicine, Lin Xian would know what this base was for. Time slowly passed. Lin Xian finally felt the abnormality in his body. Although Ling Longyue scolded Lin Xian, she was still paying attention to Lin Xian's changes. What's wrong? Her night vision was extremely terrifying. Although it was extremely dark, she could still see that Lin Xian's face was covered in sweat. This medicine seems to be a type of genetic medicine. Lin Xian's face was filled with pain as sweat dripped down. His face was twitching uncontrollably as he gritted his teeth and said, Let me help you remove it. Ling Longyue looked at him worriedly. Wait a little longer. Lin Xian gritted his teeth and clenched his fists. Ugh, he let out a low growl. Your veins are about to explode. Ling Longyue saw the veins on Lin Xian's neck and said worriedly. It's changing my body. I can feel my body's strength. It's being changed, it's being strengthened. Lin Xian said while panting. Could it be that it's a type of medicine that can forcefully strengthen a fighter's body? No, my consciousness is slowly disappearing. Lin Xian said with difficulty with his eyes closed. So this medicine should be a type of medicine that can take away a fighter's consciousness. That's what you mean by making a fighter lose his consciousness and become a puppet. At the same time, it will increase the fighter's strength. If there's a large amount of this medicine, you can create your own puppet army with extraordinary battle strength. Lin Xian said with difficulty as he swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Don't say any more. I'll help you remove the effects of the medicine. Ling Longyue moved to Lin Xian's side, and her shoulder touched Lin Xian. A surge of energy flowed from her body into Lin Xian's body. That uncomfortable feeling was slowly disappearing. This feeling lasted for more than 10 minutes before it completely disappeared. Lin Xian was sweating profusely, but he was feeling very good now. Chapter 829. How is it? Ling Longyue asked Lin Xian with concern. Lin Xian shook his head. I'm fine. But this potion is really overbearing. Even a Law Realm cultivator can't resist the potion. I felt my consciousness slowly being taken away. I'm afraid I'll really become their puppet. Lin Xian said, feeling a little apprehensive. At the same time, he was extremely shocked and angry. Once a martial artist used this potion, he would no longer be himself. He would become a puppet that obeyed someone's orders. This kind of experiment was definitely forbidden in the continent. What was the difference between this and those evil sects? The evil divine palace gained experience by killing people. Some evil sects would teach people to cultivate some kind of evil martial skills, which might require them to drink human blood to cultivate. This kind of martial skill was to control a perfectly fine person into their own puppet, depriving them of all their rights. As for why they did this, Lin Xian could guess it even if he didn't know. Rights. That's right. If they secretly developed this thing, they could seize power. Just imagine, if they really developed it, and could even put it in drinking water, how serious would the consequences be? It was unimaginable. But this gene potion is really powerful. Why? Ling Longyue looked at Lin Xian in confusion. This potion can increase the strength of a certain gene in a martial artist's body. It can increase the strength of a martial artist's body. That includes strength and physique. Even though I haven't completely succeeded, I estimate that it has increased by close to 10%. Also, I feel that there are no side effects. It's possible that there are no side effects. Why? Do you have any other ideas? Ling Longyue asked. That's right. If we can kick out the aspect of controlling a person's mind, then this potion can purely become a godly potion that can increase a martial artist's strength and physique for a short period of time without any side effects. If it's possible, then wouldn't my Yixian group have another project? Ling Longyue. At this time, he was still thinking about making money? Was there something wrong with this person? Then what do you want to do? Lin Xian rubbed his chin. First, I want to get this medicine. Second, I want to destroy this place. Third, I want to know who is secretly researching this place. Lastly, I want to tell Morong Qing. For a research and development base like this, as far as the current situation was concerned, there was definitely nothing that could prove who developed it. No one would be that stupid. Even if someone came, no one would know who it was. In that case, even if they were discovered, they would not be able to find trouble with them. Lin Xian was certain of this, unless he was an idiot. Lin Xian said, but if someone who can represent that family comes, we can control them and let Morong Qing bring the Holy Temple's people here. That family, even the 8 great families, will be finished. No, that might not be the case. At that time, that family could have completely cut off all ties with this person. Ling Longyue said. Lin Xian. Wow. Lin Xian almost didn't expect this girl to be so smart. That's right. Even if someone from the Xiao clan or the Gongsun clan came to investigate, the Xiao clan could directly deny any involvement and just say that it was this person who did it secretly, not their Xiao clan, and they didn't know about it. In this way, the Xiao clan would be fine, and that person would be the scapegoat. So unless the person who comes is a representative of that family, or he has some evidence, or he said something. I didn't expect you to be so smart. Lin Xian smiled at Ling Longyue. TSK, how can this lady's wisdom be understood by a mere mortal like you? Ling Longyue said proudly. Lin Xian smiled, and then thought about what to do next. Originally, he thought that he could only find out a little about which family did it. But now, he might even be able to directly destroy that family. No matter how powerful the 8 great families were. Once the 3 great powers intervened, sorry, you were finished. And this matter would definitely cause the 3 great powers to intervene and destroy the corresponding family. So to Lin Xian, this was definitely a good opportunity. For this, it didn't matter whether he got the potion or not. Provoking him, right? Wanting to kill him, right? You're all finished. Then who do you think will come? Ouyang Jing or Xiao Yin? Lin Xian said with certainty. It must be one of them. They hated him the most. The Ouyang family was Ouyang Jing, and the Xiao family was Xiao Yin. They must want to kill him with their own hands or control him. And their appearance was just like what Ling Longyue said. If the corresponding family was willing to abandon them, it would be useless. So, he had to get some information from them. And Lin Xian felt that they must be very conceited. They knew his strength and knew that even a heavenly venerable realm's spatial energy might not be able to break through. So they must think that regardless of life or death, he would be trapped here forever. There was no signal here, and they took away the phone. So they didn't have to worry about it leaking out. Because of this, Lin Xian felt that he could get some information from them. Little Yuer, can you help me get a phone? What for? Recording, Lin Xian said with a smirk. Oh. Then, Ling Longwei released the rope and disappeared. After more than a minute, she returned and handed the phone to Lin Xian. Then, she silently tied herself up again. Bringing Ling Longwei out this time was really the right choice. Otherwise Lin Xian might really end up dead. Next, let's wait for the person involved to come. Then, do you want to pretend? Ling Longwei asked. After all, they were injected with the drug. Not pretending. If I pretend, how can I record it? How can I talk to them? How can I get information from them? But what if they are suspicious? Suspicious? Even if they are suspicious, they must think that we can't get out. In their eyes, we are just turtles in a jar. They would never think that you have strength close to the absolute realm. Lin Xian said. Oh, up to you. Anyway, Ling Longwei didn't want to think too much. She would decide what to do. At this moment, in an off-road vehicle, Ouyang Hao was driving and Ouyang Jing was sitting in the front passenger seat. It was just the two of them. Father, nothing will happen, right? Don't worry, they have been injected with the gene drug. When we arrived, they had already become our puppets. Didn't you want to play with that Lin Xian? Then, you can control him as you wish. Ouyang Hao said viciously. Not many people in the Ouyang family knew about this matter. It was a project that he used the Ouyang family's elites to do. Naturally, he had to be there personally to be assured. Chapter 830. Hearing Ouyang Hao's words, Ouyang Jing couldn't wait to order Lin Xian to do whatever he wanted. He couldn't wait any longer. The first thing he wanted to do was to order him to break up with Han Chuxue, insult her, and make her disappointed in Lin Xian. Then, it would be time for Ouyang Jing to make his move on Han Chuxue. As for whether Lin Xian would die or not, that would depend on his mood. If he could use him and make him his puppet, why would he have to kill him? He had already won. Dad, this Lin Xian is very cunning. Will there be any risks? Ouyang Jing still felt a little uneasy. If there were any risks before, then as long as he's in the base, there won't be any risks. The girl beside him is only in her teens. What can she do? I'm a heavenly venerable. No matter what tricks he has, in front of my absolute strength and space seal, what can he do? Ouyang Jing heaved a sigh of relief when he heard his father's confident words. Therefore, Ling Longwei was in existence that none of them expected. They didn't expect this girl to have the strength of a heavenly venerable. Even if she was a heavenly venerable, Ouyang Hao was also a heavenly venerable, so he wasn't afraid. However, she had the space attribute. What they didn't expect was that she was a demon. Because she was a demon, there was a possibility that she could reach such a high cultivation level when she was only in her teens. Although she was only in her teens, she had lived for hundreds of years. It was just that the average lifespan of a demon was much longer than that of a human. According to the ratio, she was only in her teens. Soon, their car drove into the barren area and into the base. This barren area was actually the territory of the demonic beasts. It was just that they had occupied this place. Unless the demonic beasts were very powerful, they wouldn't be able to attack. They also didn't need to worry about being discovered by warriors who went out to train. Since it was a secret base, it meant that this place was rarely visited. If there was radar or something else would be able to detect it in advance. Family head. Young master. Ouyang Hao and Ouyang Jing got out of the car. A middle-aged man in military uniform walked towards them and bowed respectfully. Well, have the people who brought Lin Xian and the others here in the Star Cloud car been eliminated? They've all been eliminated. That's good. What about Lin Xian? What's the situation? They've been locked up. The gene medicine has been injected into them. As for the situation, according to your instructions, we didn't alert them, so we're not sure. However, according to the effect of the medicine, they should be under control. Quick, take me there. Ouyang Jing said impatiently. Yes. Then, the middle-aged man brought them to the front of the small black room. There were a lot of martial artists in military uniforms standing around. All of them were puppets. If they weren't puppets, then they must be trusted by the Ouyang family, such as this middle-aged man. Ka! The door to the small black room was opened and light shone in. Lin Xian and Ling Longyue were still tied up. Seeing this, Ouyang Jing was pleasantly surprised. K your mother. Awesome. Ouyang Hao didn't want to make a move on such a junior, but he was disrespectful to the Ouyang family. At the same time, since he was able to develop such a powerful medicine, Ouyang Hao thought that he might be able to develop a way to deal with the gene medicine developed by the Ouyang family in the future. Therefore, there was nothing wrong with getting rid of him. If he didn't get rid of him, it would be better. This way, the secrets of the Art Pavilion group would belong to the Ouyang family. At that time, the Ouyang family would definitely be above the 8 great families. However, the next scene stunned both of them. Lin Xian and Ling Longyue stood up. So it's you guys. Lin Xian wasn't too surprised to see them. However, he was pleasantly surprised. If the head of the Ouyang family was here, then they were done for. You're not under control? Ouyang Jing looked at Lin Xian in shock, and subconsciously took a step back. He had a bad feeling in his heart. However, seeing that they were still tied up, he didn't panic. I was so close. Lin Xian gritted his teeth, unwilling to give up. Ouyang Hao was also surprised. They weren't under control? Lin Xian then said, your Ouyang family developed this kind of gene medicine that can control martial artists and turn them into your puppets. Aren't you afraid of being discovered? Once you're discovered, you'll all die and the Ouyang family will cease to exist. Ha ha ha. Ouyang Jing couldn't help but laugh. Discovered? No one has discovered it for more than 10 years. But I discovered it. You? Ouyang Jing seemed to have heard a joke. So what if you discovered it? Do you think you can withstand the effects of 1 potion, but you can withstand the effects of 2? At that time, you'll already be my puppet. So what if you discovered it? Ha ha. You. Lin Xian gritted his teeth and pointed at them angrily. Ouyang Hao, you're a human. Yet you lead the Ouyang family to persecute humans like a cult. Lin Xian pointed at Ouyang Hao and said angrily. In fact, everything was just Lin Xian trying to get information out of them. He would say as much as he could. Now the phone behind him was recording. Humph. Ignorant child. Ouyang Hao snorted coldly and said, on this continent, power is everything. Once the medicine is successfully developed and put it into drinking water, my Ouyang family will become the ruler of the entire continent. Everyone on the continent will become my Ouyang family's puppet. My Ouyang family will rule the entire sky blue planet. But you're lucky because your Yixian group does have something, so you won't die. I'll control you and use you to control your Yixian group. With your Yixian group's fame, you can sell the gene medicine to the 5 mainlands and spread it faster. Ha ha ha. Ouyang Hao laughed. He felt especially good after telling them his grand plan. The main thing was that the 2 people in front of him would be his people. You're so vicious. Lin Xian had a look of shock and horror on his face. Now tell me how you weren't controlled. Don't even think about it. Lin Xian clenched his fist. Oh, you're not going to tell me? Anyway, the girl beside you has no value to us. Since you're not going to tell us, then. Ouyang Jing waved his hand, and a puppet walked over. Cut off her fingers one by one. Ouyang Hao said calmly. Yes, master. Then he walked towards Ling Longyue. Wait. Lin Xian said. Are you not satisfied, Lin Xian? When the time comes, I'll control you and let you humiliate Han Chuxue, so that she'll give up on you. Then, I'll play with her in front of you. It'll be so exciting. Ouyang Jing said with a laugh. I'm so tired from today's work. I can only write 2 chapters. Chapter 831. Lin Xian had been recording the entire time, so they definitely would not have thought of this. No, actually that was not the case. They had brought Lin Xian to such a special place, so they were definitely very vigilant. However, they had never thought that Lin Xian was actually beating them at their own game. Normally, no one would have thought of this. They would only be slightly vigilant and think about whether Lin Xian had any trump cards. However, after thinking about it carefully, even the spatial attribute was useless in the law realm. Even a heavenly venerable powerhouse would find it difficult to break through the spatial seal. So what if he had a trump card? Indeed, no matter what Lin Xian did, even with the law of creation, It was impossible for him to escape. However, all the uncontrollable factors were on Ling Longyue. No matter how vigilant and careful one was, it was impossible to think that a 13 or 14-year-old girl would be very strong. Yes, she might be strong, but she was at most in the law realm, right? Ouyang Hao had come from a lower realm. Even if he could level up by killing monsters, he knew how difficult it was to increase his realm after reaching the domain realm. How difficult it was to kill those monsters, and how dangerous it was. Even with the support of such a large family, he was only in the heavenly venerable realm at his age. How could he have thought that the girl standing beside Lin Xian, who looked the least threatening, was the biggest threat? Therefore, they were very conceited. In addition, Lin Xian's expression made them even more convinced that he had no way out. It's useless. Do you think you'll succeed? You still want to rule the entire continent. There are so many geniuses on this continent. Even if you successfully put the gene medicine into the drinking water source, even if you temporarily control a large number of people, there will always be someone who can stand up and crack your gene medicine. If it's really so easy to rule the continent, why hasn't anyone truly ruled the entire continent since ancient times? Lin Xian said. Just because no one has done it before doesn't mean that there won't be anyone in the future. Ouyang Hao said coldly. Yes, indeed, but the future will definitely not be you. Ha ha ha. Ouyang Jing could not help but laugh. You won't see any of this, ha ha ha. Lin Xian, oh Lin Xian, from today onwards, you will be a lackey by my side. Ouyang Jing said happily. Yes, I can't see it, but you can't see it either. After Lin Xian finished speaking, Ling Longyue disappeared from the spot. What? Ouyang Hao was shocked. What kind of power was this? Why couldn't he sense that girl's disappearance with his Empyrean realm strength? In the next moment, Ouyang Hao also disappeared on the spot. Ouyang Jing, who didn't know what was going on, was dumbfounded. What happened? Sigh. Lin Xian sighed and shook his head. If I really came alone this time, then you would really have succeeded. But I'm not alone. Men. Ouyang Jing had a bad feeling and shouted. Instantly, dozens of puppets stood there and surrounded Lin Xian. Lin Xian knew how many puppets there were. There were more than 1,000 of them. And there were even Dominion Realm cultivators. There were no Empyrean Realm cultivators, but Dominion Realm cultivators were more than enough for a place like this. It was difficult to control an Empyrean Realm cultivator. Ling Longyue's consciousness sensed this information, but this base was relatively big, and they could only send dozens of them here at once. Lin Xian, what did you do? Lin Xian shook his head and took out his phone. Our conversation just now was recorded in this phone. If this conversation is leaked, what do you think will happen to you, your father, and the Ouyang family? Lin Xian smirked. Ha ha ha. Hearing Lin Xian's words, he could not help but laugh. So what? The signal is completely blocked here. How are you going to send it out? Huh. Lin Xian smiled and said, why should I send it out? Why don't I send it to the three forces personally? What gives you the right? Because your Empyrean realm father can't beat the girl beside me. Boom. At this moment, a figure fell from the sky and landed in front of them. It had only been 30 seconds since they disappeared. When the dust settled, there was a big hole in the ground. In the hole was Ouyang Hao, who was covered in wounds and unconscious. Fa. Father. Ouyang Jing's eyes widened. His father was an Empyrean realm cultivator. Swoosh. Ling Longyue's figure landed beside Lin Xian. She clapped her hands and said, boring. If I want to fight next time, can't you find me someone who can take a beating? So weak. Lin Xian. He did not say anything. He just needed to be awesome. Then, Ling Longyue's delicate body exploded with a monstrous force. One had to know that she was now half a step into the absolute void realm. In addition to her bloodline, talent, and attributes, she was almost invincible in the same realm. In the same realm, humans were basically no match for her, except for the demon race. In terms of combat power, there was a huge gap between humans and demon race in the same realm. Generally, the demon race was definitely stronger than humans, except for a few human martial artists who were very strong and outstanding. All the puppets in the entire base were gathered by Ling Longyue's spatial power. Then, they were all locked in place by the spatial seal. There was no way for them to escape. Now the situation seems to be on my side. Lin Xian smiled and looked at Ouyang Jing in front of him. Plop! Ouyang Jing directly knelt in front of Lin Xian and quickly crawled to the side of Lin Xian's feet. Young Master Lin, let me go. Please let me go. I beg you. He kept begging Lin Xian. At his position, he enjoyed life and all kinds of women every day. He did not want to lose his current life. He did not dare to imagine it. Bang! Lin Xian smirked and stomped hard on Ouyang Jing's back. Ouyang Jing's pupils contracted and he fainted. Little Yuer, seal him and his father in that space. Oh right, also bring those scientists who were not turned into puppets here. Oh. Although Ling Longyue usually likes to diss Lin Xian, she still listens to Lin Xian during crucial moments. There were a total of 8 people, including the doctor who injected the medicine into Lin Xian and Ling Longyue. They all revealed a terrified expression and quickly knelt in front of them. You are from the Ouyang family? After saying that, Lin Xian stretched out his hand, and a chair not far away appeared beside him. Just as he was about to sit down, Lin Xian saw Ling Longyue's gaze and chuckled. He helped Ling Longyue to sit down. Young miss, please. Oomph. Ling Longyue snorted proudly, but she was actually quite happy. Lin Xian got another chair for himself and sat in front of them. They are. I am not. The man who injected the medicine into Lin Xian lowered his head and said in fear. Chapter 832. Lin Xian raised his eyebrows. Oh, you're not? Then who are you? Lin Xian's interest was piqued. Could it be someone from another clan? If so, he could directly destroy 2 families. This man didn't seem to have anything special. He was about 40 years old and looked gentle. I'm Zhang Zhehan, an ordinary university chemistry professor in Jiangxia City. Lin Xian frowned. So for money you helped the Ouyang family do such a heinous thing? Lin Xian showed anger. No. Zhang Zhehan quickly shook his head and looked up at Lin Xian. I was caught by them. Oh. Lin Xian looked at him, but he didn't completely believe him. Zhang Zhehan then quickly said, Little brother, it's true. I'm not lying to you. If you don't believe me, you can check me. Zhang Zhehan of Jiangxia City Star Nebula University. Go on. Lin Xian looked at him and said, It's like this. 3 years ago, I accidentally researched the T gene in China. T gene. It's a gene that can make people strong and lose their consciousness at the same time, turning them into puppets. Lin Xian rubbed his chin. So this thing of the Ouyang family was researched by him? Zhang Zhehan then quickly said, I originally thought that if this T gene could be applied to martial artists, then it could improve the strength and physical strength of martial artists. This would be a great breakthrough that could benefit mankind. But this project was accidentally found out by them, and I was caught by them. I didn't have any contact with the outside world for 3 years. They used my family as a hostage. I really didn't want to do such a heinous thing for them. But my family, what about them? Zhang Zhehan pointed at them and said, They're researchers sent by the Ouyang family to be my assistants. Rather than saying that, it's better to say that they're monitoring me. Lin Xian glanced at the 7 people. Is that so? Going against the Ouyang family, you'll die a horrible death. An old man pointed at Lin Xian and said angrily. Boom! A bolt of lightning directly killed him. They were all scientists and didn't have much strength. What about your family? They're over there. Zhang Zhehan pointed at the area that was sealed with tears. Lin Xian looked over and noticed that there was an old lady, an old man, a middle-aged woman and 2 children. They were constantly patting the barrier and looking over. Lin Xian clenched his fists. Damn the Ouyang family, using such despicable means to control him. It was absolutely impossible for him not to do it. He even brought their families here. If they were disobedient, he could even torture them in front of him. Little you. I got it. Ling Longyue was also very angry. She waved her hand, and her family appeared beside her. At the same time, the 7 people of the Ouyang family returned to the barrier. Dad, the 2 children threw themselves into Zhang Zhehan's arms. Hubby. The family hugged each other and cried. You humans are really bad. Ling Longhua muttered beside Lin Xian. No, there are good and bad. Aren't you demons the same? Humans are the worst. Lin Xian. After more than 10 seconds, the family turned around and knelt in front of Lin Xian. Thank you, benefactor. Thank you for saving our family. Zhang Zhihan's parents were also moved to tears. Lin Xian quickly got up and helped them up. You don't have to be so polite. Then Lin Xian looked at Zhang Zhihan and said, Teacher Zhang, there are some things I want to ask you. Let your family rest first. There's no danger here. Okay. Then his family walked to the side. Little you, please go to Lin City and tell Morongqing about what happened here. Then bring her here. Oh, I got it. Ling Longhua pouted. She had become Lin Xian's tool. Then she disappeared from the spot. Benefactor, if you have anything you want to ask, just ask. I'll tell you if I know. Don't call me benefactor. Just call me Lin Xian. Zhang Zhihan nodded. And, young Master Lin, it was the Ouyang family who did this. The Ouyang family is big and powerful. I'm afraid. Lin Xian smiled and said, Don't worry. I have a recording of their conversation. Moreover, the Ouyang family members are all there. Now, as long as the 3 major forces come over, the Ouyang family will be finished. The grievances that your family has suffered all these years will also be resolved. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Zhang Zhihan showed an excited expression. Evil has its retribution. Evil has its retribution. Zhang Zhihan trembled with excitement. Teacher Zhang, what I want to ask is also related to the T gene that you've developed. Go ahead. Speaking of which, to what extent have you guys developed the T gene? Zhang Zhihan said, It's completely developed. The Ouyang family even decided to find an opportunity in the next few years. Then can the T gene separate the effects? Young Master Lin, do you mean to separate the strength and physique of the martial artist from the control of the martial artist? Lin Xian nodded. That's right. You don't need to control the martial artist. It's purely based on the strength of the martial artist. You injected me with this gene before, and I've felt it before. It wasn't very comfortable during that period, but there were no side effects at all. Although the increase in strength isn't great for someone of my realm, it'll definitely have a good effect on martial artists below the Law realm and Thunder Tribulation realm. It's also like what you said. If it's possible, it's indeed a blessing for humanity. No side effects were the best. Of course, it's very simple, Zhang Zhihan said. That's great. A look of excitement appeared on Lin Xian's face. If he could work with Lin Xian, then this project would shock the entire continent. Then Lin Xian looked at him and said, It's like this. I have a group of my own. If Teacher Zhang thinks it's okay, I want to hire you as the chief planner of this project. What do you think? Of course, no problem. Young Master Lin saved my family, and at the same time, I don't need to continue to harm the continent. I'm willing to help you for free. I just hope that it's really a blessing for humanity. No. You still have to live and have a family to support. Then it's settled, Lin City. Yes, of course. When I go back, I'll bring my family and move to Lin City. I'll arrange a place for you. But this matter has to be kept a secret. We'll publicize it when the research and development is complete. By the way, what's the cost? And the materials? Zhang Zhihan said. It's not expensive. Although the materials aren't common, they're not too rare. Chapter 833. After a while, Ling Longhua arrived with Morongqing. Morongqing did not believe it at first, because it was too exaggerated. If such a thing was really realized, then the entire human race would be controlled. It was too scary. She had never thought that such a thing would happen. When she came here, everything around her made her feel that something was wrong. But she believed in Lin Xian. So before she came, she directly made a few calls. Now Tiandu's Knights Templar unit was rushing here. Beautiful sister, you're here. Lin Xian then quickly walked to Morongqing. What's the situation? Morongqing asked again. Then Lin Xian and Zhang Zhihan told her in more detail. Bastard. Morongqing walked out of the sealed space and looked at the unconscious Ouyang Hao and Ouyang Jing. She might not know Ouyang Jing, but as the head of the Ouyang family, she definitely knew Ouyang Hao. When she saw Ouyang Hao lying there, she was basically sure. Where are the Tijins? Morong Qing looked at Zhang Zhihan. Zhang Zhihan handed her a reagent. Thank you. Destroy the other information and samples. Don't let them fall into the hands of others. I understand. I say, beautiful sister. Lin Xian looked at Morong Qing. You've done something earth-shattering this time. Morong Qing said excitedly to Lin Xian. This Lin Xian was really a blind cat that met a dead mouse. Otherwise, once the Ouyang family took action, even if they could not rule the mainland, it would definitely have a great impact on the entire mainland. I don't care about that. What I mean is that Teacher Zhang will come to work at my art pavilion group and work on this project. But it's only the part that strengthens the body with Tijins. Morong Qing frowned. That depends on whether the three major forces agree or not. Teacher Zhang's identity is sensitive, and the project he's working on threatens the safety of mankind. Then, do you want the three major forces to watch over Teacher Zhang? He has his own life. Besides, when the time comes, can't you help supervise? This, I will tell them, and try my best to help you fight for it. Then, Morong Qing walked towards the ceiling barrier. Teacher Zhang, can these people who have been turned into puppets be transformed back? Morong Qing asked. No, the antidote hasn't been developed yet, but it can definitely be developed. Zhang Zhihan said. Morong Qing nodded her head and walked into a hole that Ling Longyue had opened up. Bang! She kicked Ouyang Hao out of the room. Ouyang Hao had fainted at first, but perhaps because of the pain, he woke up immediately. His face was full of pain, and his teeth and mouth were all covered in blood. He lay there in a sorry state. He slowly opened his eyes and glanced to the side. He even felt like he was in a different world. Why? Why did it suddenly become like this? Ouyang Hao, you're quite ambitious. Morong Qing walked in front of him. Ouyang Hao's pupils shrank as he suddenly raised his head to look at Morong Qing. She. Why is she here? Did this mean that the three great powers already knew about it? What are you talking about? How come I didn't know about it? Also, what is the meaning of this? Miss Morong, don't you care? Ouyang Hao stood up and said angrily. Although this place had indeed been discovered, it was just as Lin Xian had guessed. He could find someone to take the blame. He could pretend that he didn't know about the Tijin. This was just a secret weapon manufacturing place for his Ouyang family. This kind of small crime was nothing. He could then find one or all of the 7 people to take the blame. He could pretend that he didn't know anything, and pretend that it was those people who were secretly doing this behind his back. As for Lin Xian, as for him telling Lin Xian about this matter, was there any evidence? Yo, you're still pretending. Lin Xian couldn't help but ridicule. Ouyang family head looked Teacher Zhang the witness, and the puppets around him, the witness, the entire base, and the material evidence. What witness and material evidence? What are you talking about? Ouyang Hao said angrily. Oh, you're still pretending? Lin Xian then took out his phone and started recording. The conversation was very clear. When Ouyang Hao heard it, he was in despair. He actually recorded it. Ouyang family head, do you have anything else to say? Morong Qing stared at him. Doesn't Miss Morong know that recordings can be faked? Ouyang Hao said with a black face. Isn't everything added together enough to prove it? Morong Qing said coldly. Ouyang family, how dare you kidnap people and use sinister means to control the entire human race? You deserve death. Shameless old man. You're still pretending even at this point. Lin Xian sighed. Ouyang Hao had no way to refute anymore. He gritted his teeth and secretly clenched his fists. Lin Xian, I want you dead. Ouyang Hao roared, and a terrifying force rushed towards Lin Xian. However, there were 2 heavenly venerables standing beside him. How could he succeed? Ling Longyue didn't even make a move. Morong Qing froze time, and he and the force he released stopped in place. Slap. Then, Morong Qing slapped him in the face, and he was sent flying. He fell to the ground and fainted again. Ling Longyue used her spatial teleportation to blast that energy to a distant mountain peak. He must be very angry. He was a dignified heavenly venerables. How could he not have the ability to resist at all? About 2 hours later, more than a dozen cars stopped here. Thousands of members of the Knights alighted from the cars and took control of the surrounding area. Morongqing told them everything that happened here. Evidence and witnesses were all gathered. All that was left was for the three major forces to seal up the Ouyang family and take action against them. As for Zhang Zhihan, he would definitely go with the Divine Palace first. Lin Xian had done what he had to do. He didn't expect that something inexplicable would cause the Ouyang family to disappear. Lin Xian was speechless. Lin Xian was too lazy to care about the rest of the matter. As for humiliating Ouyang Jing, it was pointless. Return to Lin City? Morongqing looked at Lin Xian and asked after everything was explained. Of course. What about you? I'll send you back. Let's go back together. Then Morongqing drove Lin Xian and Ling Longyue away. I've told them about your idea. I know you want to keep a low profile and don't want to have too much interaction with the three major forces. This matter will be suppressed. They agreed to what you said, but the premise is that I have to supervise it. Lin Xian nodded. That's fine. Thank you. I'm still hoping to earn money with you. I want to thank you on behalf of the Divine Palace. If the Ouyang family really succeeds in this matter, it will really be a disaster for the continent. However, this matter has also sounded the alarm for us. The enemy of mankind is not only the demon race. They chatted all the way and soon returned to Lin City. Chapter 834. The car stopped at Lin City's sacred palace, and the three of them alighted. Is there anything else you need to do now? Morongqing closed the door and leaned against the car, looking at Lin Xian. Nonsense, I'm so busy. What do you mean? Is there something you need me to do if I'm free? Lin Xian's eyes lit up. Yes, how about tonight? Ling Longyue pouted her lips. Why does this bad guy have relationships with all the girls? And it feels like they're flirting. This is too despicable. Ahem. Ling Longyue coughed and said to Lin Xian, I'm hungry, bring me to eat. Lin Xian still wanted to cultivate his relationship with Morongqing, but then he heard Ling Longyue's words. Then I'll bring you air away first. Oh right, your sister has a little trouble recently. Allah? Lin Xian quickly asked. What trouble? You'll know when you get there. Morongqing smiled. Lin Xian. But seeing how Morongqing wasn't anxious at all, it shouldn't be a big trouble. Then the two of them left. Bastard Lin Xian, how many girls do you have relationships with? After leaving, Ling Longyue angrily stared at Lin Xian and said. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose. No, they're just normal friends. Lin Xian was submissive. Humph. Normal friends? You said they were normal friends before. And then? Lin Xian. That seemed to be the case. At that time, he also said that Ling Ying and Han Chushue were normal friends. Humph. Anyway, sister already knows. Ling Longyue then angrily walked away. Hey, you don't want to eat good food? Lin Xian shouted from behind. I'm full of anger. After saying that, Ling Longyue disappeared. Lin Xian couldn't help but laugh. This girl was quite cute. However, now that Ling Longyue knew about it, Lin Xian really didn't know how she would treat this matter. Would she be angry with him? Or did he remain silent? Or a backhand slap? Needless to say, anything was possible. At that time, Lin Xian had been calm, but now he was panicking. Let's go to the Ice Nation tomorrow. Today, I'll accompany Little Fairy, and then I'll go to Xiao Linglong's place to test the waters. Lin Xian then went to the art pavilion group. Lin Yu was sitting in her office at the moment, but there was an unexpected guest in her office. Yeah, from the first time I saw you on TV, I fell deeply in love with you. After the new year, I came here from Jiangxi City to confess my love to you. It doesn't matter if you reject me. I just hope that you can give me a chance. I will make you the happiest woman in the world. The man was wearing a suit. He wasn't very old, about the same age as Lin Ya, and about the same age as Xiao Yun, whom Lin Xian met. He was 23 or 24 years old. He was indeed a talented man, and he definitely had a lot of confidence. Otherwise, how could he have the confidence to confess to Lin Ya? Lin Ya was really beautiful, especially when she was wearing professional clothes at work. Some of her photos were even circulated on the internet. This was a very interesting thing, but it was also a very normal thing. She was called the most beautiful chairman in history. That's right. No one had ever seen a chairman who was more beautiful than her, who was in charge of a big company. Even the women on the board of directors of big companies were in their 40s or 50s, and there was even a time when it went viral on the internet. Of course, this kind of thing was actually nothing, and it wouldn't have any impact on her life, because all the news was positive. They were all amazed at her beauty temperament. This also proved that she was indeed very beautiful. Yi Qingyan came from a wealthy family. Although Jiangxi City wasn't a top-notch place like Tiandu, it was still a family next to Tiandu. The Yi family of Jiangxi City was a first-rate family. What was a first-rate family? It was their family's power, wealth, foundation, and so on. They were only a little weaker than the 8 great families of Tiandu, but they were only a little weaker. They had the chance to be promoted to the level of the 8 great families. In short, they were a very strong existence, and he was also very outstanding. There were also many outstanding women who pursued him. However, at that time, he suddenly saw a piece of news about the Yixian group on the internet, and suddenly saw Linya's photo. From then on, he was deeply immersed in it, and couldn't extricate himself. He really fell in love with this woman. It should be known that there were a lot of fake photos on the internet, but they were taken by someone else, and had not been photoshopped or processed. Then after the new year, he couldn't wait to come here. Of course, Yi Qingyan was not stupid. He came to see Linya with the sincerity of the Yi family and some business. Although it was clear that they would not cooperate with other companies for the time being, Linya was still very clear about the Yi family. Such a big family was almost a big family in Jiangxi City, so she still had to think about it. Naturally, she received him personally. In the evening, on the pretext of work, Yi Qingyan successfully asked Linya out for dinner. Linya couldn't refuse, so she could only go with him. That was also the most meaningful night Yi Qingyan had had. Although it was just a meal, and although the topic was only about business, he was very satisfied. Especially after seeing the real person, he realized that he was really deeply immersed in it, and couldn't extricate himself. This woman, he would spend his whole life to get. This was the person of his destiny. He would never fall in love with another woman. After that night, he couldn't ask her out again, because Linya clearly expressed that she wouldn't cooperate, and then later on, she used work as an excuse. So, Yi Qingyan came to the Yixian group again today. Mr. Yi, I put my mind on work. I don't have any plans for romance for the time being. Moreover, with Mr. Ye's excellence, you can find a better girl. I'm sorry, Linya said faintly. That's okay. We can be friends first. I just hope that you can at least give me a chance to be friends. Linya was in a difficult position. She really didn't like to get along with boys other than Lin Xian, although this Yi Qingyan was really quite good. His behavior didn't seem like a playboy. At this moment, Lin Xian opened the door and walked in while humming a little tune. Wow, what beautiful roses! Lin Xian exclaimed when he saw the particularly gorgeous bouquet of roses. Originally, he didn't know what trouble Linya had encountered, and was very curious. After that, he directly came to the Yixian group. After asking a little bit of the people in the group, he found out that his little fairy had met her most admirer. Linya had many admirers, but there were still very few who really came to the company to pursue her. This was because those outstanding people in Lin and City were simply not qualified to speak the truth. Chapter 835. Just when Linya didn't know what to do, Lin Xian appeared. At that moment, Linya seemed to have found her backbone, and hurried over to Lin Xian. Little Xian, when did you come back? Linya walked over to Linya, and habitually helped Lin Xian tidy his clothes. I just came back. Lin Xian smiled and pinched Linya's pink cheeks. Yi Qingyan naturally saw this scene, but he didn't think much of it, because he knew that they were siblings. Lin Xian looked at Yi Qingyan and said, "This handsome guy is?" "Hello. Young Master Lin, right? I'm Yi Qingyan from Jiangxi City." Yi Qingyan smiled and shook Lin Xian's hand. If he was just a pure pursuer, Lin Xian wouldn't think much of it. At least until now, Lin Xian only saw Yi Qingyan as a pure pursuer of Linya. But it was useless. If Linya was Lin Xian's biological sister, then if you really liked her, and you were very outstanding, and had a good character, Lin Xian wouldn't stop you. That was your freedom. But they weren't biological sisters. Linya was Lin Xian's woman. That wouldn't do. Hello. Lin Xian smiled and shook his hand. Little Xian, Mr. Yi is here to cooperate with our company. Linya said. Cooperation? No problem. Then Lin Xian sat down on a chair while Linya sat quietly not far away. Oh, young Master Lin means that we can cooperate? But Miss Lin said that your company isn't considering cooperating with any companies for the time being. Yi Qingyan also sat in front of Lin Xian. That's true. But Mr. Yi came all the way from Jiangxia City for this matter. With such sincerity, we really have to consider it. We can't let Mr. Yi come for nothing, right? Yi Qingyan roared in his heart. That's not it. His main purpose of coming here was not to do business, but for Linya. How could he be so sure? But it didn't matter. If he could do business, it would naturally be good. Moreover, this was Linya's younger brother, which meant that he would be his future brother-in-law. If he could please him, and help him pursue Linya, wouldn't it be twice the result with half the effort? However, what made him more surprised was that this Lin Xian had such a high authority in the Art Xian group. Originally, he thought that Lin Xian was simply Linya's younger brother, and that Linya was the one with the highest authority. According to the information on the internet, she also held almost all the shares of the Art Xian group. Now, it seemed that this was not the case. It's like this. Our family wants to. Before Yi Qingyan could finish, Lin Xian waved his hand. No, I won't look at the content of your cooperation. Of course, I don't mean anything else. I'll just talk about my cooperation. If Mr. Yi thinks it's okay, then we can cooperate. Go ahead. It's like this. Our company has plans to expand recently. Since Mr. Yi is from Jiangxia City, then we can consider opening the company's market in Jiangxia City first. The content of the cooperation is very simple. You give us money, and we will give your Yi family the right to join in Jiangxia City. In other words, your Yi family can be the sales channel of the Art Xian group in Jiangxia City. What do you think? The meaning was actually very simple. Your Yi family opened various stores in Jiangxia City and sold Art Xian Group's products. My Art Xian Group supplied your Yi family. Naturally, the price was higher than normal. You buy, you sell. As for how many stores you open in Jiangxia City, that was your freedom. However, no matter what, you had to pay for it yourself. It was just like the Yi family becoming a sales channel of the Art Xian Group. However, if you sold more, the Yi family would earn the difference in price. Anyway, it would definitely make money. However, the joining fee would definitely not be low. This, of course. Yi Qingyan nodded and agreed without hesitation. Originally, he might have come over to discuss something similar to this. Straightforward. I like Brother Ye's straightforwardness. Then let's talk about the joining fee. 1 billion a year. What do you think? 1 billion is not a problem. 300 million was just to take the Art Xian Group's agency rights in Jiangxia City. It seemed like a loss, but in fact it was not a loss. Because if he got it, then his Yi family would become the only company that cooperated with the Art Xian Group in this aspect. Countless families in the entire mainland hoped to fight for the Art Xian Group's agency rights in a certain city. However, none of them were qualified because the Art Xian Group did not cooperate with outsiders for the time being. Lin Xian's Art Xian Group did not suffer any losses. They did not need to develop themselves, open their own stores or operate their own operations. They would sell their goods here and earn their own money. Then, they would earn everyone's money. In the end, it was more or less the same. After completing Xiao Xinyue's mission, the jade marrow liquid would be unlimited. This was the simplest way. They would find a family in each city to act as the Art Xian Group's agent. In this way, the Art Xian Group would spread throughout the entire empire, and even the 5 empires in a short period of time. Moreover, they would be fighting for the agency rights. It was much faster and simpler than the Art Xian Group developing their own cities bit by bit. There would definitely be enough money to earn. Lin Xian did not want Linya to be too tired. When the time came, it would be enough to just collect the money. Therefore, It would definitely be this way in the future. Thinking about it, an empire had hundreds of cities. Even if they only found one agent in each city, even if they charged them 1 billion a year, then just the agency rights alone in the 5 empires would be more than 1 billion a year. This did not include the money they paid for the goods here. It was very simple and very profitable. However, this joining fee may increase in the future. This should not be a problem for Mr. Yi, right? It will increase. Yi Qingyan frowned. Of course. After all, it is business. Mr. Yi should also understand. We can talk about the details slowly. Yi Qingyan looked at Lin Xian and said, Yes, of course. It is not early now. Mr. Yi, do you want to go back and rest first? I will discuss some things with my sister. Okay. Yi Qingyan then stood up. Then I will leave first. With that he walked out. After walking out, he suddenly realized something. Something was not right. His main purpose for coming here was Linya. How could he leave happily, just because he had reached a temporary verbal agreement with them? However, being able to reach a deal with them was also a huge gain. This Lin Xian does not seem to be as simple as he seems on the surface. Yi Qingyan smiled and then walked out. Little Xian, didn't you say that you would not cooperate? Linya looked at Lin Xian in confusion. Lin Xian then reached out and hugged Linya's small waist, causing her to blush slightly. In the future, the Art Xian group will definitely dominate the 5 empires in the future and become an existence that no family or power can compare to, Lin Xian said with a smile. Chapter 836. Linya looked at Lin Xian with her beautiful eyes. Was he really that ambitious? But then again, it was good for a man to have some ambition. You don't have to find an agent, right? Since you're not in a hurry, I can take my time to develop. No. Lin Xian shook his head, then kissed her pink cheeks. I don't want you to be too tired. In the future, you can just sit there and collect money. You have to improve yourself in the future. Got it. Linya nodded lightly, then bit her lips. Go, don't move. She pouted, then patted Lin Xian's hand. Lin Xian grinned and whispered in Linya's ear. Little fairy, you haven't done that for me in a long time. Linya. Her little face instantly flushed red. Of course, she knew what Lin Xian was talking about. No. Linya quickly shook her head with a red face. No, I don't care. Lin Xian smirked. Then can we wait until we get home? No, we'll do it here. I'll go lock the door. Then Lin Xian quickly ran to Linya's office and locked the door. Linya. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Lin Xian smirked and rubbed her face. Linya lowered her head with a red face, then slowly got up and knelt in front of Lin Xian, reaching out her little hand. Ding! After bullying Linya for a short while, Lin Xian left happily. These days are really comfortable. Lin Xian stretched and entered sage mode. Although he hadn't slept with Linya, their intimacy had already reached the level of a couple. They had done everything, except for the last step. However, Lin Xian still couldn't bear to do it. However, his reluctance to do it was one thing, but whether he took advantage of her or not was another. Linya was too indulgent towards him. But of course, he didn't forget his enemy. Now the Ouyang family should be fine. Xiao Yin might still hold a grudge against him in Tiandu. As for the Liao family, Liao Zhibang was killed by him. Liao Jian should have guessed that his brother had been assassinated and would definitely suspect him. As for what he would do next, Lin Xian didn't know. The girls around him all had the ability to protect themselves. For those who didn't, Linglong Shui also temporarily helped them to protect themselves. After all, she was Lin Xian's closest person, which was also Linglong Shui's closest person. She would definitely be willing to help, and was very confident and diligent. Then there was the Gongsun family. Outside of the Gongsun family was the Evil Fiend Temple, including the current Evil Fiend Temple's Zhao Mengyue. In fact, in Lin Xian's heart, Zhao Mengyue and the Evil Fiend Temple were existences that he had to be more vigilant of. He hoped that they wouldn't make any moves in a short time. After that, Lin Xian walked towards Linglong Shui's residence. After not seeing each other for a few days, he was anxious. He had to go to the ice country tomorrow. This time, he might stay in the ice country longer than Tiandu. He might even have to come back with Xiao Runing. But Lin Xian was still looking forward to this trip to the ice country. He hadn't been out of the country before, but it was indeed his first time going to Tiandu. In Ling Longshue's home, there was a scene that Lin Xian would never have imagined. The three girls were holding 3 laptops and playing games. This game was taught to them by Lin Xian. After all, they were usually bored. Other than watching TV, they would go shopping. So Lin Xian taught them other things to have fun. Of course, Lingya was also taught by Lin Xian. They often played games at night. The night before, Ling Longshui, Bing Lingyue, Lingya Yi, and Lu Yufan were the 5 black fans. If their opponents knew that they were facing 5 heaven-defying beauties, how would they feel? But Ling Longshui was too much of a scammer. Maybe no one could compare to her talent in cultivation, but when it came to games, she was really a black hole. Even Bing Lingyue's ability to accept games was better than hers. That night, Lu Yufan laughingly ranked the 5 of them. Obviously, she was the last one, the scammer. Of course, that was the truth. It was just a joke to prove that they had a good relationship with each other. But Ling Longshui was at Sundara. She thought that her cultivation was fine, but why was it so difficult to play games? So she couldn't accept it. So, she brought them to practice their skills. Big, 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 big. Ling Long Yu kept shouting. Then the screen turned gray. When she looked again, it was her sister. She didn't learn big. Ah. Sister, you're too much of a scammer. Didn't you learn big when you were level 6? I used EQ to help you catch and knock the opponent away. I was waiting for you to do a big kill. But you didn't learn big when you were level 6. Ling Longyu was going crazy. That's right. Maybe for a girl like Ling Longyu, her talent in games was very high. Lin Xian taught her for a while, and she could even do some of the more difficult moves in Heroes. Ling Longshui looked at the black screen. Then, she took a sip of tea and said calmly, "Which one is big?" Ling Longyu. Ah, it hurts so much. That was what Ling Longyu learned from Lin Xian. Lin Xian was having a great time playing Ultimate. He was so elegant, especially when he was using his skills and his big moves. The way he shouted was simply, "Ling Longshui." Naturally, there was no need to think too much. Even Sister Bing is better than you. Sister Bing is 1 to 8. Look at you 0 to 13. It's okay. Last time, didn't Lin Xian play my hero 0 to 17? I'm better than him. Ling Longshui said. Ling Longyu. She was speechless. Bing Lingyue turned off the computer and leaned on the sofa to drink tea. Then she said, "Did you guys encounter danger in Tiandu?" "Yes, Lin Xian is too good at causing trouble. I finally know why he brought me along every time. It's because he wants me to be his bodyguard." "Humph. Big pig trotter." Ling Longyu pouted and said. "Then what you said to me, is it true?" Ling Longshui asked. "Ah, what did I say?" "You said that he and other girls. It's nothing." Although Ling Longyu was angry, she felt that telling Ling Longshui the truth would mean betraying Lin Xian. Ling Longyu still remembered that when Lin Xian played with her, he said that they were a team. They were a family. If they were to die, they would die together. Never betray a teammate. I don't know how to say it. Ling Longyu scratched her head. Then she hugged Dragoni and played with her. Bing Lingyue then said, "It's understandable for a man to have multiple wives." "That's right. She might be Lin Xian's best teammate." "Then Sister Bing, are you willing? If he's a man that I like, if he's capable and responsible, having multiple wives is nothing. It's like that in my era. As long as he treats everyone well, it's fine." Bing Lingyue said, "Arabaldi, the man you love the most is back." Lin Xian opened the door and appeared. Chapter 837. Lin Xian jumped in and looked at the 3 girls awkwardly. The 3 girls looked at Lin Xian as if they were looking at an idiot. Beauties, give me some reaction or I'll be embarrassed." Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose and said, "Handsome." Ling Longyue said, So handsome." Bing Lingyue agreed. "This is even more awkward. Big brother is the most handsome." This was from the bottom of her heart. From the bottom of her heart. Then Dragoni happily flew into Lin Xian's arms and rubbed against Lin Xian. "So cute." Okay. I heard your perfunctory words. Lin Xian helplessly walked over and sat beside Ling Long Shui out of habit. Dragoni, did you miss me? Lin Xian teased Dragoni. Of course I missed you. Dragoni didn't know how to lie, so she sincerely expressed her feelings. Good girl, give me a kiss. Hee. Of course, Dragoni was more than willing to fly up and give Lin Xian a big peck on the cheek. Ling Longyue shuddered in disgust. So cute. I bought some snacks on the way eat. Lin Xian opened the box and Ling Longyue skillfully snatched one of the desserts. Dragoni didn't hold back at all as well. Lin Xian then hugged Ling Long Shui and placed his hand on her stomach. It seems like it's a little protruding. Lin Xian touched it and said softly, You don't have to worry about it. Aren't you having fun in Tiandu? Ling Long Shui pushed away Lin Xian's hand and said coldly. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose. Ling Longyue must have told her that he was intimate with other girls. Of course, Lin Xian wasn't dissatisfied with Ling Long Shui's attitude. After all, it was his fault. Lin Xian admitted that he wasn't good enough for Ling Long Shui. After he tricked her, he even got intimate with other girls. To be honest, any normal woman would be unhappy, let alone Ling Long Shui. It's almost time for dinner. Let's go out and buy some groceries. When we come back, I'll ask Ling Long to help me cook. Bing Lingyue smiled and stood up. No, I want to watch the show. Ling Longyue said as she ate. Then, she saw Bing Lingyue winking at her. Yes, I want to buy a lot of chicken wings. I want to eat cola chicken wings today. Then, she turned around and carried Dragoni away. The three of them left the house, leaving only Lin Xian and Ling Long Shui in the house. Of course, they left on purpose to give them some space to talk. After all, they knew what happened, and it wasn't good for them to be around. You're angry? Lin Xian asked a little embarrassedly. So what you said is true, right? Ling Long Shui looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian scratched his head. It wasn't a big deal to confess this kind of thing, but Lin Xian really felt that he wasn't a good person. Yes, Lin Xian naturally couldn't hide it. This kind of thing had to be revealed no matter what. Perhaps this was a good opportunity. How long ago? Ling Long Shui's voice didn't have much emotion, but the system notification in Lin Xian's mind sounded. She was jealous, unhappy, and angry. The system notification allowed Lin Xian to know Ling Long Shui's feelings and emotions that she didn't show. It also allowed Lin Xian to deal with it better. Ling Long Shui of course was unhappy. Although she was prepared, she felt that Lin Xian's relationship with the girls around him wasn't normal. It was a girl's natural sixth sense and keen intuition. No, there was something more important. It was something that she was more certain of. So when she heard the news, she was relatively calm. However, Lin Xian personally admitted it in front of her. It really made her feel very complicated. How long ago? Actually, Ying and I should be before you. Lin Xian finished the tea in front of him in one gulp and said, At that time, we were training in the demonic beast domain, and encountered an accident. We encountered a very powerful demonic beast. Lin Xian roughly told Ling Long Shui what happened that day. So even though you already have her as your girlfriend, you still lied to me? No. Lin Xian quickly shook his head. It's over. Then, Lin Xian quickly held her hand and looked into her eyes as he explained. What happened between me and little Ying was an accident. But I need to be responsible for her. What happened between you and me was also an accident. I want to be responsible for you too. And I can guarantee that my feelings for you are real. Please believe me. Your feelings for beautiful girls are real, right? Of course not. Who else? Ling Long Shui asked again. Lin Xian. In that instant, Lin Xian wanted to say no. But when he looked into Ling Long Shui's beautiful eyes, countless thoughts rushed into his mind. In that instant, there were a million possibilities. Maybe only a second had passed. But Lin Xian's brain was spinning rapidly. In the end he decided. There's also Chuxue, Lin Xian said shamefully. It was real shame, not shyness. Admitting that he had other women in front of his own woman. That kind of feeling really didn't feel good. How should he say it? Hearing Lin Xian admit it, Ling Long Shui actually let out a sigh of relief. Lin Xian was her man, and she had already admitted it. Naturally, she couldn't find another man. Moreover, their relationship was very good. It wasn't that she couldn't accept a man having multiple wives. Although she felt uncomfortable, she couldn't accept a man lying to her. Obviously, Lin Xian didn't lie to her. Her senses were stronger than anyone else's, her realm was high, and she was a Yao. In fact, she had already sensed Lin Xian's aura from Ling Ying and Han Chuxue. It was a kind of aura that was left behind after a very intimate relationship. So she also knew that there was definitely something between Han Chuxue and Lin Xian. And Lin Xian admitted it. That was why she had been worried that Lin Xian would lie to her. If he did, she might really get angry and leave. But Lin Xian didn't, which was why she let out a sigh of relief. In fact, she also didn't want to leave. So Lin Xian's choice at that second was correct. Okay. Ling Longshui nodded, then got up, walked into the room, and closed the door. I'm going to rest for a while. Lin Xian scratched his head. Angry? Angry? But later on, the system didn't say that in his mind, which meant that her anger didn't increase. Hey Xiao Linglong, are you angry? Lin Xian asked at the door. No. Ling Longshui's voice came from inside. She just wanted to calm down and think. She was angry, but she was fine. You're not angry? Then I'll make something delicious for you. I don't want to eat. Ling Longshui replied indifferently. Then, let's watch a movie together. I'll recommend a good one. I don't want to watch it. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose and looked at the tightly shut door. How about playing video games? Ling Longshui. Pull me. Lin Xian. Chapter 838. That's right. In the next hour, Lin Xian and Ling Longshui didn't continue this topic. The two of them held their laptops in her room and fought 2 rounds. Damn. Xiao Linglong, why are you so fierce in these 2 rounds? You're killing the opponent consecutively. Lin Xian was shocked by Ling Longshui's performance. Was this still Ling Longshui? Wasn't she just a wall? How could she kill the opponent endlessly? If she killed the opponent in 1 round, it would be due to luck, and the opponent was really weak. But 2 rounds in a row. Because I learned a big move. Ling Longshui said calmly. Lin Xian. Then she closed her laptop. You're not playing anymore? Lin Xian asked. She shook her head. I'm not playing anymore. Then did you vent your anger? Lin Xian hugged her and placed her on the bed. He looked at her side profile and asked quietly. What's wrong with you? I'm not angry. She said calmly. Of course I'm angry. It's all my fault, but I really can't abandon them. Can't bear to. Ling Longshui lay there and turned to look at Lin Xian. Yeah, I can't bear to. At the same time, I don't want to become a scumbag. You're already a scumbag. Lin Xian. Then can you forgive me, a scumbag? Lin Xian kissed her cheek softly. Just don't do it in front of me. Ling Longshui sighed softly in her heart. Lin Xian was pleasantly surprised. Then you. Ling Longshui sat up and said calmly. Actually, I already knew. If you didn't admit it, I would have left you. But you admitted it. At least you didn't lie to me. Mother said to never choose a man who lied to you. At least you passed this test, and... Ling Longshui turned to look at Lin Xian and said helplessly, you're not destined to only have me. Allah. Lin Xian scratched his head. There's also Ling Yu. Why are you talking about this again? Although Lin Xian wanted to pursue her. Didn't you say you don't want to let down any girl down? She is. Then can you accept it? Lin Xian looked at her and asked. At the very least, it's easier for me to accept than others. Besides, I'm not the main branch. Ling Longshui said softly. Lin Xian. She probably said that because she heard that Ling Ying was Lin Xian's first woman. Don't worry about this. There's no difference in seniority. In my heart, you're all the same. Lin Xian smiled and hugged her. Happy, very happy. This was a knot in Lin Xian's heart. He didn't dare to say it out loud, just like Ling Ying and Han Chuxue. But he said it out loud and received Ling Longshui's forgiveness. He was really happy. Therefore he, Lin Xian, was truly blessed. The girl beside him was really good. But, Ling Longshui looked at Lin Xian seriously. What? Say it. Say it. I'm still unhappy. So as punishment, the bet I lost to you before doesn't count. Do you agree? As she spoke, her little face turned slightly red. Lin Xian. What a joke. Of course he agreed. Although he was a little reluctant, this was his wife. There was still a long way to go. Of course, of course. Anything else, wife, just say it. It's still the same. Without my permission, you can't touch me. Okay. Lin Xian nodded. It could be considered as helping her vent her anger. Take your hand away. Ling Longshui said lightly. Lin Xian decisively let go of his hand. Although he agreed now, he would definitely be able to do whatever he wanted in a few days. Hehe, I'm happy. When they buy the ingredients later, I'll make delicious food for you. I'll do it. Ling Longshui said. Wow. You even want to snatch this from me. I'm happy to. Lin Xian smiled. Okay, you can do it. But you can't work too hard. My son is still in your stomach. Lin Xian said with a smile. Ling Longshui touched her stomach, and then looked up at Lin Xian. I'll help you pursue Ling Yu. Lin Xian. No way? So good? Lin Xian still looked conflicted. Must I? Yes, I must. Are you really okay with it? Yes. Then when the time comes, if I really manage to pursue her, can the three of us cough? Unless you want to die. Ling Longshui said coldly. Hehe, I'm just joking. Lin Xian said with a smile. That, wifey, there's something I want to ask. Ling Longshui then looked at Lin Xian. That is, look, why don't I not go back tonight? I'll stay here with you. No. Ling Longshui directly refused. Of course, she knew what Lin Xian, this bad guy, wanted to do. But, think about it, you're pregnant now, and we can only do it for the first 3 months. After that, we can't do it for 7 months. Lin Xian then looked at her with a wronged expression. So don't you have Ling Ying and the others? Ling Longshui's words made Lin Xian speechless. Okay, if wifey doesn't agree, then forget it. Then I won't do anything else. I'll just hug you to sleep and not do anything, okay? Lin Xian looked wronged and begged with his eyes. Ling Longshui. No. But I'm leaving tomorrow. Ling Longshui frowned slightly and looked at Lin Xian. I'm going to Ice Country. You should know about Ice Country, right? I have some things to do there, and I don't know when I'll be back. What things? She felt like Lin Xian had said he would be gone for a long time. Sigh. I have important things to do, important things for men. Things to do with factions. Ling Longshui asked. That didn't seem right. Why did he have to go to other empires to develop his faction? But wasn't that what men needed to do? Sigh. Lin Xian sighed and didn't answer. He wasn't lying to her, right? That's why I want to be intimate with you before I leave. I won't do anything other than hug you to sleep. Is that okay? Ling Longshui bit her red lips slightly. After all, she was his woman. This was actually her duty. Then, all right. But you have to promise me that you won't do anything. Ling Longshui finally relented. That's right. In fact, almost all women were soft-hearted. This was probably what it meant to be a woman. Even Ling Longshui, who was at the heavenly Tao realm, was no exception. Of course, there was a prerequisite. That was that they would only be soft-hearted towards the people they cared about. Really, you promise me? You can't go back on your word. Lin Xian was delighted. When the time came, they would be sleeping together. He might not be able to persuade her now, but when the time came, then, it would no longer be up to Ling Longshui. Just thinking about it made him look forward to it. He had never slept with her in her room before. Chapter 839. After a while, Bing Lingyue and Ling Longyue, as well as Dragoni and Bing Lingyue's arms, came back. They bought a lot of ingredients, and since Lin Xian was there, they hoped that he could make a feast for them. Although Ling Longshui can cook now, she can't compare to Lin Xian in terms of details and style. Naturally, they hoped that Lin Xian would do it himself. And then there's Dragoni. In the past, she wasn't picky. As long as it was a big sister, she would hug anyone. But now, Ling Longyue and Bing Lingyue, she chose to be in Bing Lingyue's arms. Lin Ye and Ling Ying, she chose to be in Lin Ye's arms. Why? Big, soft, comfortable, big brother. As soon as they got home, Dragoni flew out of Bing Lingyue's arms and sat on Lin Xian's shoulder. She's really sick of Lin Xian. Lin Xian is the closest to her. Big brother is going somewhere else tomorrow. You still have to stay with your sisters. Do you hear me? Lin Xian pinched her and said with a smile. Dragony's mouth twitched. Can't Dragony be with Big Brother? She really wants to be with Lin Xian. It's not convenient. When we go to the beast domain later, I'll bring you along. Be good. Okay, Dragony is the most obedient. Dragony nodded her little head. Good girl. Then Lin Xian looked at them and said, Okay, Xiao Linglong is going to cook for everyone. Ah, big sister is going to cook. Ling Longyue's face fell. What's wrong with me doing it? Linglong Shui came out of the room and asked. No, nothing. What I mean is that big sister is pregnant and shouldn't work too hard. Let Lin Xian do it. He should serve you. Ling Longyue said with a smile. Lin Xian. Yes, she was willing and satisfied with Lin Xian serving her. But why was this girl's word so unpleasant? Since I have nothing to do, I'll do it. Sister, you can play with me and Sister Bing. Let Lin Xian play. No, you're too much of a scammer. Linglong Shui said. Ling Longyue. Wow. Who was the one who tricked him? That's right. Linglong Shui had become a little arrogant after 2 rounds of godly play. You two have fun. I'll go guide Xiao Linglong. Then, Lin Xian and Linglong Shui walked into the kitchen. That's strange. I don't feel like big sister is angry. Ling Longyue mumbled. Maybe it's because Lin Xian is too strong. Bing Lingyue smiled. An hour and a half later, 4 dishes and a soup were successfully served on the table. After dinner, the 4 of them nestled on the sofa, covered with blankets, and curled up together to watch a movie. The female lead in the movie was the one they had talked about before. I heard that an Xian has a concert in Ice Country these few days. Ling Longyue said. They all liked this girl. She was pretty and good at acting. The main thing was that she looked familiar. They had seen her in many TV dramas and movies. Then go to Ice Country with Lin Xian. He's going there. Linglong Shui said. Allah. Ling Longyue looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian looked at Ling Longyue. You're going to Ice Country? What a coincidence. What coincidence? I'm not bringing you. Lin Xian rolled his eyes. Ling Longyue pursed her lips. Stinky man. When you need me, you say all kinds of good things. When you don't need me, you don't bring me. Humph. Ling Longyue said with disdain. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose awkwardly. That seemed to be the case. However, Lin Xian did not want to reveal that he was going to the Ice Country to act as Xiao Runing's boyfriend for the time being. Moreover, unlike the Ling family, Xiao Runing's parents were in no hurry to sell her. According to Xiao Runing, as long as it was a man, as long as he had the ability to reproduce, her parents would be satisfied. Lin Xian could not understand Xiao Runing's parents' mentality. If it was in the past and she could not cultivate, her parents would be anxious. After all, Xiao Runing's age. That's not right. She was not young. She was only 1 or 2 years older than Linya. She was only 24 or 25 years old, which was the most beautiful period of a woman's life. Even if she couldn't cultivate in the past, she wouldn't be in a hurry. But now that she could cultivate, once she reached a higher realm, her lifespan would increase, and her aging would be slowed down. Some people might be in their 50s or 60s, but they still looked like they were in their 20s. Ling Ying and Han Chushua's mother looked exactly like that. She was in her 40s, but when they stood together, it was no exaggeration to say that they looked like sisters. It's not that I don't want to bring you. I really have something to do. Something to do? Other than women. What do you have to do? You must be going to find a girl. Ling Longyue mumbled. Linglong Shui glanced at Lin Xian. Lin Xian panicked. Don't. Cough cough, don't mess around. If you want to go, you can go by yourself, or you guys can go. I'm not bringing you. Sister, did you see that? He's guilty and doesn't dare to bring you. Lin Xian. Forget it, Lin Xian is going to do something important. Linglong Shui shook her head. Oh. Ling Longyue did not say anything else. I'll bring you guys to play when I come back. Lin Xian said. Who cares? Ling Longyue mumbled. Dragony wants it. Dragony said sweetly. Okay. Then I'll bring Dragony out to play. I won't bring them. Ahahihi. Dragoni happily kissed Lin Xian's face again. After about 2 hours, it was getting late, and they had finished another movie. Hey, why aren't you leaving? Ling Longyue kicked Lin Xian, who was beside her. Leave? Why should I leave? This is my home. Why should I leave? Lin Xian asked puzzledly. Who said this is your home? We bought this. But my wife is here, so this is my home. Lin Xian said with a smile. To be honest, he wanted to accompany Linya tonight. But in the end, he could not resist Ling Longshue's temptation. Humph. It's getting late, Xiao Linglong. Let's take a shower and go to sleep. I have to wake up early tomorrow. Ling Longshue's face was slightly red. Then she got up and walked back to her room. Bye-bye. Lin Xian smiled and waved at Ling Longyue. His expression was too smug. Ling Longyue's mouth was slightly open. Sister Bing Lin Xian he. Ling Longyue pointed and looked at Bing Lingyue. Bing Lingyue smiled. They are partners, it's normal. Ah, bastard, bastard. Ling Longyue was going crazy. She knew, but she was not happy. Time to sleep. She then went back to her room in a huff. Dragoni, let's go back to sleep. Bing Lingyue was their intellectual big sister. She then carried Dragoni, turned off the lights and TV, and went back to her room. Smells good, Lin Xian said with a smile as he sniffed Ling Longshue's room. Chapter 840. Ling Longshue gritted her teeth. She didn't think much of it, but when this bastard said it, she felt bad. He didn't have any good intentions. Then Ling Longshue gave Lin Xian a new blanket and threw it on the bed. What are you doing? Lin Xian asked in confusion. One blanket for each of us. Lin Xian. Hey honey, you can't do this. You're too heartless. Because you made me feel that you were up to no good. Ling Longshue said honestly. That's right, she did agree at first. Then, when she saw Lin Xian walk in, she inexplicably saw bad intentions in his eyes. It was as if the big bad wolf had entered the little white rabbit's house. It was very strong. No, we're already in a relationship. You're making my heart ache. Lin Xian looked like he was heartbroken. Sleep if you want. Ling Longshue then lay down on the bed, leaving Lin Xian half the bed and a soft blanket. Fine, you're ruthless. Lin Xian then took off his clothes and jumped on the bed. Ling Longshue turned her head to look, and her face immediately turned red. You, she gritted her teeth, and looked at Lin Xian angrily. Lin Xian crawled under the blanket. What's wrong? Can't I sleep naked? Anyway, I'm not in your blanket. Lin Xian said with a very reasonable look. Ling Longshue was speechless for a moment. Then, she turned her back to Lin Xian and closed her eyes. Lin Xian then laughed evilly and turned off the lights. Anyway, there was plenty of time at night. He could take it slow. In the darkness, Lin Xian slowly reached out his hand. Take it away. I'm hugging you. Lin Xian then put his arm under Ling Longshue's head. The two of them were separated by 2 blankets. It was nothing. Ling Longshue sighed slightly, and then rested her head on Lin Xian's arm. She didn't say anything. Come closer. Turn around. Lin Xian said with a smile. You promised me. Ling Longshue said softly. Yes, but is it okay if I hug you? Lin Xian said very logically. It seemed like it. Then, she slowly turned and curled up in Lin Xian's arms. After all, they were separated by 2 blankets in the winter. Lin Xian then slowly leaned over and kissed Ling Longshue's pink cheeks. Ling Longshue. Sigh it, it's nothing. This is normal. She slowly closed her eyes. In the darkness, Lin Xian slowly revealed a mischievous smile. I want a kiss. Lin Xian then said with a smile. Ling Longshue didn't respond. If you don't say anything, I'll take it as a yes. After saying that, Lin Xian didn't give her time to react and kissed her. Ling Longshue instinctively wanted to dodge, but Lin Xian was too strong. Xiao Linglong, I want to see our baby. Lin Xian whispered in Ling Longshue's ear. I can't see, Ling Longshue said with a blush. Who said that? Others can't see, you can't see, but I can. I can be the closest to our baby. Lin Xian then whispered in her ear. Her face immediately turned red. The next morning, Lin Xian opened his eyes and looked at Xiao Linglong in his arms. That's right, the two of them were in the same bed. Last night, when he kissed Linglong Shui, it was already destined that Linglong Shui would be bullied by Lin Xian. As expected, although Linglong Shui repeatedly rejected Lin Xian, he became more and more overbearing. She was half-hearted and half-willing to give in to Lin Xian. That's why men's words can't be trusted. As long as you're taken advantage of even a little, you can forget about it. Smack! Lin Xian looked at the beautiful Linglong Shui and gently kissed her again. Linglong Shui's long eyelashes trembled slightly, then she slowly opened her beautiful eyes. You're awake? Lin Xian said with a mischievous smile. Linglong Shui then turned her back to Lin Xian in disdain. She lazily closed her eyes and didn't want to move at all. Lin Xian smiled. All right, you should rest. I've seen our baby and I'm satisfied. I'll leave first. Lin Xian then got dressed on the bed and looked at her dotingly. He then opened the door and walked out while massaging his waist. Did you accidentally injure your waist during a battle? Lin Xian muttered to himself while massaging his waist. In the living room, Bing Lingyue was wearing home clothes and heating a cup of milk for herself. Then she saw Lin Xian walking out while massaging his waist. What's wrong? Is your back uncomfortable? Bing Lingyue asked. I don't know. Maybe it's from a fight. Lin Xian shook his head and then sat on the sofa. I'm afraid there are too many women around. Bing Lingyue said. Lin Xian. Wow. That makes sense. It can't be, right? Is my waist that weak? No, it's not that his waist is weak. It's that regardless of whether it's Ling Ying, Han Chuxue or Linglong Shui, they're all too beautiful. He'd rather have a weak waist than stop. Ahem. Lin Xian coughed dryly and blushed. Lie down, I'll give you a massage. Bing Lingyue said to Lin Xian. Ah, so nice. Up to you. Ehe, thank you, little Bing Lingyue. Lin Xian then lay down on the sofa happily. Bing Lingyue passed the warm milk to Lin Xian, and then put her slender hands on Lin Xian's back. Then Lin Xian felt a cool sensation enter his body. Wow. Don't be too comfortable. Bing Lingyue is really virtuous. No, she's only virtuous to Lin Xian and her friends. Outside, she's a cold empress. She's very similar to Lingyue in this aspect. All right, it shouldn't be sore for a while. Bing Lingyue released her hands and said. Lin Xian sat up and twisted the girl. It's really not sore anymore. Little Bing Lingyue, you know medicine too? It's not medicine. I just used a bit of cool ice elemental energy to heal it. However, I still have to remind you. Oh, although Linglong is very beautiful as a man, your body is still quite important. Lin Xian. Ahem. Lin Xian coughed awkwardly. But that shouldn't be. I'm at least at the law realm. How can this happen? That's because Linglong is at the heavenly Dao realm. Oh, Bing Lingyue said. Linglong is considered alright. The Void Fox is a relatively gentle race. Some Fey women reach the Great Void realm, and men at your level can't even have intercourse with them. The energy in their bodies is too strong. Once they have intercourse, the man will definitely self-destruct. Therefore, for you to be intimate with Linglong, who's at the heavenly Dao realm, it's already very good that your waist only hurts. It just means that too much of your yang energy and essence has been absorbed. Lin Xian. Then what about you? Lin Xian asked with a smile. Bing Lingyue was speechless. Chapter 841. Her beautiful face had a faint blush that was almost invisible to the naked eye. Then, Bing Lingyue took the cup of warm milk from the coffee table and took a sip. She seemed very calm about Lin Xian's question, but she had given the milk to Lin Xian before, and Lin Xian had drunk half of it. Because of the panic in her heart at that moment, she forgot about this. She looked very calm, but when Lin Xian saw that she was even drinking the milk that he had drunk, he knew that she was not as calm as she appeared. This was a good thing. Do you believe that I won't tell Linglong? After a long time, Bing Lingyue said this. Tell her then. I've already told her the truth, and she has forgiven me. She allows me to have multiple wives. Lin Xian said with a grin. This was within Bing Lingyue's expectations. Linglong Shui looked noble and cold. Of course, that was the truth. It was just that she was kinder. She might not show her feelings, but it did not mean that she had no feelings. For example, she would never show her love for Lin Xian. For example, she would never tell Lin Xian, "I love you, I like you," or take the initiative to hug Lin Xian. She would never do that, even with her current relationship with Lin Xian. But she cared more than anyone else. It was easy to see that she would do a lot of things now, including in the past. Whether it was the spirit restoration pill or something else, she wouldn't have taken the initiative to give it to Lin Xian. However, those were all things she had prepared for Lin Xian. Even when she went to Lin Xian's house for the new year, she had spent a lot of time choosing her own clothes and gifts. It was all because she cared too much. Therefore, she would definitely indulge Lin Xian. Linglong has suffered because of you. You have to be nice to her. Bing Lingyue put down the cup of milk and said softly. Then she was stunned. She looked at the cup of milk in a daze. Only then did she realize that she had only given it to Lin Xian. Oh no, oh no. Lin Xian didn't notice, did he? Lin Xian nodded. I know. That's why I feel sorry for her. Yes, with Linglong Shue's beauty, temperament and excellence, how many people in this world, including the human race and the demon race, would dare to say that they were worthy of her? It's good enough that you don't feel inferior in front of her. Actually, it's nothing, but you can't let a girl protect you. As a man, you have to protect her. Just work hard and become stronger. Yes, little Icy, you're the one who sees things clearly. I'll definitely work hard to become stronger, and then protect you all. Bing Lingyue was speechless. Lin Xian was referring to all of you. Did that include her? Then Lin Xian grinned. I want a kiss. Bing Lingyue was speechless. You can ask Linglong for it. After saying that, she got up and walked into her room. Lin Xian smiled and left. In the room, Bing Lingyue stood there motionlessly with her back to the door. She had a very strange feeling. She didn't understand why she had such a feeling. When Lin Xian talked to her, she inexplicably liked talking to him. She was also inexplicably willing to do things for him. She even felt touched when Lin Xian teased her. What's going on? Bing Lingyue's face was filled with pain. She hit her head. She felt that she was missing something very important. Then something else appeared. It was very messy. She didn't know what it was. What scared her the most was, she didn't hate Lin Xian teasing her. Instead, why did she like the feeling of being intimate with Lin Xian? This made her very afraid. After all, she was Linglong Shue's man. After Lin Xian left, he went to Lin Ye's Art Xian group. He took a look at Lin Ye and stayed with her for a while. He felt sorry for her. He came back, but he didn't spend the first night with her at home. Lin Xian swore that when he was done with work, he would spend the whole day with her. There was also Lu Yufan. No matter what, this girl was still Lin Xian's girlfriend. Lin Xian really didn't spend much time with her. However, it was still alright to be able to play games with her. Morong Qing had been busy with the bubble gun project recently. Lin Xian was still very grateful to her. Her existence didn't talk about other things. But he didn't know how much she helped him and Lin Ye. But the most worrying thing was missions. Now, Bing Lingyue and Linglong Yue's missions were constantly depleting Lin Xian's Adonis points. It wouldn't be long before Morong Qing's mission started depleting as well. If Xiao Xinyue didn't complete it soon, Xiao Xinyue's Adonis points would start depleting. Lin Xian was glad that Xiao Runing and Yi Yi's missions hadn't been triggered yet. If they were triggered, Lin Xian would be even more worried. Perhaps Yi Yi was relatively easier to woo. Although Xiao Runing and Lin Xian were very close, she had a lot of things to consider. It was similar to Linglong Shui. It was the kind of thing that would cause your confession to fail. Although he was puzzled as to why neither of them triggered a mission, regardless of whether it was triggered or not, they were already Lin Xian's women. Unless they found a guy they liked. When leaving the Art Xian group, Lin Xian ran into Yi Qingyan. Yi Qingyan was standing outside the Art Xian group, leaning against a sports car. When he saw Lin Xian, he quickly waved his hand. Young Master Lin. Lin Xian walked over. Young Master Yi? Yo, this sports car isn't cheap. Yi Qingyan smiled and said, Young Master Lin, don't make fun of me. With your family's wealth, you can buy this brand of car company. No. That's my sister's property, not mine. It's all done by my sister. How can you say that it's my property? Lin Xian smiled. In fact, Yi Qingyan knew that although it seemed to be Linya, he didn't know how much of it Lin Xian was. But it must be because of Lin Xian. However, in Yi Qingyan's opinion, Linya should be the majority. After all, this woman was as outstanding as a dazzling star in his eyes. Young Master Yi, you're too humble. What's the matter? If it's about business, wait for my sister to draft the contract. When the time comes, we'll contact you to discuss it again. Lin Xian. No. I'm here specifically for you, young Master Lin. Me? Lin Xian pretended to be stunned. Why are you looking for me? Lin Xian scratched his head and said. Yi Qingyan handed Lin Xian a cigarette. No, I don't smoke. Young Master Lin doesn't smoke. As a male martial artist on this continent, it was basically a smoker. After a battle, or before a battle, one would indeed have a miraculous effect on one's spirit. Lin Xian smiled and said, Yes, after all, I live under the same roof as my sister. My sister hates the smell of smoke the most. How can she smoke? Hearing Lin Xian's words, Yi Qingyan directly put out the cigarette and patted his body. Chapter 842. Since Lin Xian had said so, there was no way he would smoke anymore. Let's have a drink together? I have some things to discuss with young Master Lin. Oh, then I'm sorry. I have to go to Ice Country for some matters, so I'm afraid I don't have time. If young Master Yi has anything to say, you can tell me now. Yi Qingyan only had one goal in coming to Lin Xian. As Linya's younger brother, Lin Xian had the highest authority and presence around Linya. His words would be very useful, and he liked Linya. If he could rope in Lin Xian and have him help him pursue Linya, it would be much easier. It's like this. You should know that I'm pursuing your sister, right? Lin Xian nodded. That's why I want your support. Don't worry. If I can pursue your sister, I'll use my entire life and everything I have to protect her. Lin Xian rubbed his chin. But I can't. I know I'm being too abrupt, but I really like her too much. But she won't even see me. At most, she might meet me for business, so I think. Young Master Yi. Lin Xian patted Yi Qingyan's shoulder. It could be seen that this person really liked Linya. Lin Xian didn't know about his character. But even if his character was good, but Linya was his. He was really sorry. Young Master Lin, do you have any advice for me? When pursuing a girl, you have to rely on your own sincerity. Relying on others to pursue her is never right, especially when she's my sister. Oh right. Also, if young Master Yi is only here for this, then I think you can go back, because my sister already has someone she likes. What? Yi Qingyan revealed an expression of disbelief. He had never seen Linya get close to any guy. Yes, I'll tell you clearly. My sister already has someone she likes. She won't accept anyone else. Lin Xian said. In that instant, Yi Qingyan felt as if the sky had collapsed. But I've never heard of or seen him before. Who is he? Lin Xian shook his head. Young Master Yi, you don't need to know that. All you need to know is that you won't have a chance no matter what. There are plenty of beautiful girls in this world. Young Master Yi, you should consider the others. With that, Lin Xian patted him on the shoulder and walked away. Yi Qingyan's face was ashen. It was the feeling of losing one's true love. Wait, young Master Lin. Yi Qingyan called out to Lin Xian. Is there anything else? I want to know who he is. What kind of man is worthy of her? What kind of man does she fancy? Yi Qingyan said, unwilling to give up. Or rather, he had given up but he wanted to know. He's not that outstanding, he just likes her. Who could say for sure if they like something like that, right? Let's go. Then Lin Xian waved his hand and walked away. Yi Qingyan secretly clenched his fists. After a while he loosened them slightly. Sigh, Yi Qingyan, you finally fell in love with a girl in this life. In the end it's too late. How good would it have been if you had met her earlier? Yi Qingyan sighed. Forget it. If we can become friends, that's fine. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself. Yi Qingyan sighed and walked into the art pavilion building. How should he put it? Suddenly, he didn't pursue Linya anymore. Instead, he let go. Then, he would go and have a good chat with her. He was satisfied that they could be friends. At this moment, Lin Xian was already sitting on a plane to the Ice Nation. Because the accident rate of flying vehicles like planes was simply too high, there were very few planes as a means of transportation. Very few people were willing to take planes, even though it was faster. But even though there were very few, it didn't mean that there weren't any. As for why the accident rate was high, it wasn't because of the plane itself, but because of the demonic beast domain. In the demonic beast domain, there was no lack of flying-type demonic beasts. When a flying-type demonic beast saw a plane flying past them, they would directly blast it with a demonic skill. The plane would be gone, and the entire plane would die. If there was no threat of demonic beasts, the accident rate of a normal plane was 1 in 3 million. If there were demonic beasts, it would be 1 in 100,000. Although the 1 in 100,000 chance seemed very low, it was indeed dangerous. However, to go to a place like the Ice Nation, it was too far away. Firstly, it would take a long time to take the Star Cloud car. And secondly, the danger level was actually higher than that of a plane. Because your journey was far, and you were traveling across borders, the chances of encountering powerful demonic beasts were higher, and the chances of being attacked were higher. Moreover, that area belonged to the demonic beast domain, so it was even more dangerous. Lin Xian, are you here? On the plane, Lin Xian was having a video call with Xiao Runing. The planes here were much more advanced than those on Earth. At the very least, he didn't have to worry about the phone's signal threatening the plane. I just got on the plane. It's going to take 23 hours. I'm King drunk. Lin Xian had never sat in a car or plane for more than 10 hours in his life. He had never sat in a car or plane for more than 10 hours on Earth. He felt that it was a kind of torture. When he went to Tiandu, he had to take the Star Cloud car for about 8 hours. Fortunately, he still had Ling Longyue to talk to and cultivate their relationship. There weren't many people on the plane, only about 10 passengers. However, the plane ticket was extremely expensive. In any case, Lin Xian had spent 50,000 yuan to fly from Lin and City to Ice Nation's ice capital airport. After all, there were too few people taking the plane, so they couldn't recoup the cost. Therefore, the price would be very high. It's fine. Have a good sleep, Xiao Runing said with a smile. Hey, 50,000 yuan for the plane ticket. You have to reimburse me. Xiao Runing couldn't help but roll her eyes at Lin Xian. All right, I'll reimburse you, but the prerequisite is that you have to act well for me. Don't worry. Lin Xian looked at Xiao Runing's background. It seemed like they were in the living room. Is this your home? A villa? It was reasonable for Xiao Runing's family to live in a villa. However, Lin Xian really didn't understand Xiao Runing at all. What? I can't live in a villa? Xiao Runing rolled her eyes again. At this time, a girl in pink pajamas walked past Xiao Runing. She was eating delicious food as she passed by. Then, she took a look and was very curious. Who are you video chatting with? Xiao Xinyue walked over. This sister was video chatting with a boy. Hello, little Xinyue. I missed you so much. Give me a kiss. Lin Xian saw Xiao Xinyue and waved with a smile. Xiao Xinyue. Hey, I advise you to be kind. Xiao Runing said unhappily. Then, Xiao Xinyue sat next to Xiao Runing. You're video chatting with Lin Xian? It was very strange. Even if they were close, they could have just called. Video chatting. Chapter 843. In Xiao Xinyue's eyes, even if Xiao Runing had never had a boyfriend, she was very outstanding. It wasn't that she couldn't find one. But no matter what, Xiao Xinyue had never seen Xiao Runing call a guy, let alone video call him. Anyway, Xiao Xinyue didn't know anything about relationships. She only felt that video calls between men and women were very ambiguous. Ask him to come over and help, Xiao Runing said helplessly. Help? Don't tell me. Xiao Xinyue suddenly thought of something. Hey, you haven't even told your sister? Lin Xian asked with a smile. Xiao Runing shrugged and said, Yeah, I just want to ask Lin Xian to pretend to be my boyfriend. Xiao Xinyue. She knew it. How could her sister have a boyfriend? She even told her parents that her boyfriend would come to visit in 2 days. She was very curious. She asked once, but Xiao Runing gave an ambiguous answer, so she didn't continue to ask. So she wanted Lin Xian to pretend to be her boyfriend. Then you better pray that mom and dad don't find out. Xiao Xingyue leaned on the sofa and said softly, "It's okay. We've already rehearsed," Lin Xian said with a smile. Huh. Xiao Runing's face suddenly turned red. No. Nothing. That. Call me when you're almost there. I'll go pick you up. Bye. Hey, don't. Little Xingyue, you still haven't told me if you miss me. Lin Xian hung up just as he finished speaking. The two girls' faces were slightly red. They sat on the sofa and didn't say anything. Anyway, they each had their own thoughts. As for Xiao Runing, because of Lin Xian's words, she had a guilty conscience. What was there to practice? Of course they were boyfriend and girlfriend. They even slept together. She was taken advantage of by this bastard. Because of her guilty conscience, she was afraid that Xiao Xingyue would find out. If she found out, she would be too ashamed to continue being an elder sister. Xiao Xingyue was right beside her. And Xiao Xingyue, how should he put it? She naturally had a good impression of Lin Xian, but Lin Xian was teasing her again. For those who didn't have a good impression of him, teasing would only lead to anger. But for those who had a good impression of him, it would make her shy. Although she had countless pursuers who would dare to flirt with her in front of her, it was none other than Lin Xian. Mom and Dad are very smart. You suddenly said that you have a boyfriend, and that your boyfriend is coming to visit. Mom and Dad will naturally suspect that you found someone to pretend to be your boyfriend. They will definitely test you. Xiao Xingyue broke the silence and said softly, "Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. But if I don't let Lin Xian impersonate me, I'll probably be nagged to death this year. Also, my parents will definitely arrange all sorts of blind dates for me. I'd rather die." Xiao Runing said helplessly, "After all, you are also quite beautiful. There are countless people who admire you in Ice City." This is normal. Pretty? I say, my dear sister. Why do I feel that you don't admit that I'm particularly beautiful? Tell me, do you think that I'm inferior to you in your heart? Xiao Runing hugged Xiao Xingyue's waist and laughed as she questioned her. Yes. Xiao Xingyue nodded. Good, you don't give me any face at all. You're asking for a beating. Then the two of them started to quarrel in the living room. Xiao Xingyue was a relatively cold girl, but when she was alone with Xiao Runing, she would be a little more open. After all, the two sisters were indeed very close. Lin Xian chatted with Lu Yufan, Miao Xiao Miao, and the other girls on the plane to kill time and cultivate their relationship. They had chatted for about 3 hours. Lin Xian's neck was sore, so he lay down and closed his eyes to sleep. Beside him, a particularly fair-skinned girl wearing sunglasses had just passed by the washroom. Because there were very few people on the plane, there were only about 10 people on the plane. As a result, when passing by a place and seeing someone, she would take a special look. This was human instinct. Then she saw Lin Xian. She pulled down her sunglasses slightly to see him more clearly. The girl was slightly stunned for a moment, then walked away. Because she recognized Lin Xian. Of course, she didn't know him. She only said that she saw Lin Xian on the Nebula car to Tiandu. Because there was a small conflict on the Nebula car at that time. The male lead was him. So she paid special attention to him. She didn't expect to see him on the plane to Ice City. The girl then sat in the seat in front of Lin Xian. Scumbag. She then muttered something. Why was she called a scumbag? She was sitting in front of Lin Xian. Just now Lin Xian had been talking on the phone with someone. Although she didn't see it, she could tell from the content that this person was talking to at least 4 different girls, flirting, and asking for kisses. Wasn't this a scumbag? Although she had never been in a relationship, she had acted in many teen idol dramas. She could still tell if this man was talking to his sister or girlfriend. Obviously, it was his girlfriend. He was probably going to Ice City to see his girlfriend. It might be an online relationship. Stepping on 4 boats, the lowest. Tui men. She flipped through the magazine in peace. This time, she was going to Ice City to prepare for her concert. Usually, no matter where a celebrity went, they would have a lot of bodyguards. At least, they would have their own manager or something along. Normally she was the same. Although she didn't like such occasions, she had no choice. It was just that she had returned to Tiandu for the New Year 2 days ago. So after the New Year, she directly flew to Ice City. The others had already arrived and were preparing for the venue. There were very few flights by plane. There were only a few in the entire empire. Therefore, this plane flew directly from Tiandu to Linnan City, and then to Ice City. This was also the reason why Lin Xian and she could meet again. She boarded the plane in Tiandu. The plane flew for about 5 hours. The sky was already dark, and basically everyone was asleep. At this moment, something strange happened. The whole plane suddenly emitted a loud bang, and then suddenly shook. Everyone was suddenly awakened from their sleep. Fortunately, they were all wearing seatbelts. Otherwise, they would have been knocked around in the cabin. At this moment, the whole plane was falling at an extremely fast speed. Although the plane wasn't big and there were very few people, after encountering such a terrifying thing, everyone woke up and instantly fell into despair. Screams and cries were heard. Boom! There was another sudden tremor. Lin Xian opened his eyes. His pupils constricted as he looked out the window. Outside, a huge black demonic beast was releasing lightning and bombarding the plane. Lin Xian. What the F***ck? This was the first time in his life on a plane, and he encountered it with a probability of 1 in 100,000? Did it have to be so unlucky? But perhaps for others, this was a disaster and a hopeless situation. But for Lin Xian, a martial artist with spatial attributes, there was hope. Chapter 844. The plane itself was particularly noisy. In such a noisy environment, the screams of the passengers in the cabin seemed insignificant. However, it was precisely in such an environment that the screams coming from Lin Xian suppressed the noisy whistling of the plane. Lin Xian frowned and quickly unbuckled his seatbelt. Then he grabbed the back of the chair near the window. Bang! Lin Xian smashed the glass with his fist. The whistling wind made it difficult for him to breathe. However, he had no choice. He had to do this because he needed to check the distance to the ground. Lin Xian could only release his spatial energy accurately if he knew the distance to the ground. Then Lin Xian went against the wind and stuck his head out. At this moment, the plane was diving down at an extremely fast speed. Lin Xian got a rough idea of the distance in an instant. If he was alone, he could leave immediately. However, Lin Xian wanted to save everyone on the plane, including the passengers, the captain and the flight attendants. There were more than 20 people. They didn't deserve to die. Since he had the ability to save them, he naturally had to save them. Bang! Just as Lin Xian was about to release his spatial energy, a figure flew over and smashed into Lin Xian. Lin Xian was stunned. It was a little soft and a little fragrant. Hey, stop screaming! Be quiet! Lin Xian shouted. He grabbed her with both hands and pushed her away. After pushing her away, he grabbed her arm tightly. Ding! Because you squeezed the girl's Mimi too hard. Adonis points plus 1 million. Lin Xian. Wah! He didn't do it on purpose. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Anexian's eyes were red. Die your sister. Stop screaming. Lin Xian shouted. Then, he took a deep breath and released his spatial energy. Whoosh! In the next moment, everyone on the plane disappeared. Boom! A few seconds later, a roar came from a barren plain. The plane crashed. Lin Xian pulled an Xian and landed not far away. As for the others, Lin Xian didn't know where they were sent, but it shouldn't be too far away. Because he pulled an Xian, the two of them were together. Those people all landed safely. They were also very confused. Why didn't he die? As for whether they lived or died, Lin Xian didn't care. The easiest way was to make a phone call. I'm not dead. Anexian's mouth was slightly agape, her face full of disbelief. Then she tried to step on the ground. Wow! I'm not dead. She couldn't help but cry out in excitement. Lin Xian shook his head. F***ck. We're all women dogs. When she was in extreme danger, she instinctively grabbed Lin Xian and scratched Lin Xian's arm. Hey, we're not dead. An Xian walked over to Lin Xian and patted Lin Xian's back. Lin Xian lifted his sleeve. There were 5 deep fingerprints. No, it wasn't as simple as fingerprints. It was completely sunken and bloody. An Xian looked at Lin Xian's wound and suddenly recalled that she seemed to have grabbed someone on the plane. She seemed to have used a lot of force. Could it be? Then, Lin Xian released the law of creation, and the wound on his arm instantly healed. An Xian's mouth was wide open. Lin Xian then turned to look at her. Scumbag! An Xian subconsciously called out after seeing Lin Xian clearly. Lin Xian. What the hell? Ding! You have triggered the mission. An Xian after a successful confession. Mission time limit, 3 months. Mission reward. All existing attributes are improved. Mission punishment. Poison attribute disappears. Currently it has been forcefully accepted. Lin Xian. That's right, it had been a long time since he triggered a mission. He didn't expect to meet a girl who triggered a mission on the plane. Lin Xian then carefully sized her up. He had to admit that since the mission was triggered by the system, this girl was truly beautiful. She looked like she was about 18 or 19 years old. She was still quite young. She was very youthful, bright, lively, and cute. Her skin was as white as milk. After experiencing that kind of thing, her hair was messy, but it just so happened that this kind of messy hair gave people a special kind of beauty. Naturally, there was no need to talk about her figure. Perhaps the thing that left the deepest impression on people was the pair of eyes on her beautiful face. He felt that her eyes were just SOSO, but for some reason, they were super beautiful and full of spirit. It was as if they could speak. An Xian looked at Lin Xian's eyes and was secretly angry. He was indeed a scumbag, but she felt that the reason she was able to survive was because of him. He saved her life. Are you okay? Lin Xian asked. I am fine. An Xian shook her little head and then slightly frowned. What's wrong? It hurts. Only then did she realize that her chest hurt. It was burning. Why? Could it be that she was hit on the plane? Hurts? Where? Chest. She subconsciously rubbed it and suddenly realized something. I am fine. Lin Xian. He remembered that when they were on the plane, this girl suddenly broke free from her seatbelt and flew onto him, grabbing him tightly. At that time, Lin Xian still had to focus on releasing the space attribute. After all, there were dozens of people on the plane. Also, he had to control the distance. If the distance was not right, they might fall to their deaths in midair. So at that time, Lin Xian did not notice. In addition, the wind was especially strong. Her entire weight and some kind of strength were on him. Lin Xian directly grabbed her and pushed her away. If it was not for the system notification, he would not have noticed that he was grabbing onto something. At that time, the situation was urgent. Lin Xian had to grab onto her with all his strength. Otherwise, she would definitely be injured when she flew out. If she hit her head, that kind of force would probably kill her. So, her chest was probably really bruised. Lin Xian knew how hard he had used at that time. Damn it. Sorry. It really hurts. An Xian only realized that it was too painful. Tears were about to come out. Did you hit something? Lin Xian pretended to be confused and asked. Maybe. No. At first she also thought that she had hit something, but when she calmed down and thought about it, no, this was a scumbag. Hee. But she was embarrassed to say it. After all, he had saved her. I think so. An Xian said sadly. Give me your hand. Lin Xian. Give it to me. Then, Lin Xian grabbed her hand and released the creation rule slightly. At first, an Xian thought that he was going to take advantage of her. But then she realized that it did not hurt. It actually did not hurt. How magical. What attribute? Thank you, she said softly. Were you the one who saved me? Then she looked up at Lin Xian and asked. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.